Hello, Jordan Magpie Bullet over on YouTube. Hi, Slime. How are you doing today? I'm doing great. I decided to try playing the opening of Duet Abyss Night, I think it's called, and I got stuck. I was like rushing to finish before the stream started, so I actually it's like still open in the background. I'm like, whoops, hey, my bad. So, yep, I took my little kitty to the emergency vet. Let me slide over to chatting so that he could get his staples out after his surgery, which went very well. He is happily sleeping in my office. So we are going to have these kitties and also my kitty in my office. We will see if he becomes a menace. While the ad break is in process for Twitch, I'm going to run out and get myself a little bit more ice in my water. So, yes, enjoy the kitties, and I will be right back. We will start. Jordan says, that's good to hear for me not doing okay mentally. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry you're not doing okay mentally today. If Vampire Therapist gets too much and you still want to hang out and stream, I can always swap to Little Witch in the Woods or something more cozy too, so do let me know. Hopefully hanging out helps you feel better. If you want to chat about it, like, go ahead. I guess if it's like I'll let you know if it's the kind of thing that might be a little too dark for the channel, in which case you can always head over to the Discord and rant in the rant channel, as long as you spoiler it. So, yeah. But yeah, I hope that you feel better, and I'm sorry that you feel like shit. That sucks. Thank you for the kitty love. I am back now. I've finished filling up my water bottle. Yes, the kitties are very cute. They are Necomart themed. I recently did an affiliate sponsorship. Not sponsorship. I recently became an affiliate with them. I can do words, lol. And, which is really nice because they're super cool. The concept is basically like too many businesses have this thing where if you want to get merch, you have to be like a certain size or popularity. They have to come to you and offer it. And so the idea was like anyone should be able to get merch if they want. And so, kind of like by VTubers for VTubers, they set up Necomart. And they're currently working on getting everything set up right now. So yes, these are their little mascots, or my take on their little mascots. And I thought it would be cute to wear them. So yes. Yes, I will drink my water that I just got. Moisten the slime. Delicious. When I was getting my water, I got a, I won a contest for a game. Oh, like, like back in July or August or something. And they finally shipped my stuff out and it arrived. And it included this really cute little, like, dual ice cube tray with, like, chibi heads of some of the characters. So I put that in the freezer several hours ago. So I have my cute little ice cubes in my water bottle. So yes, thank you, Thy Wizard Grim, for the moistion. The slime has been officially moistened. Lol, I can speak. And now we are going to slide over here. A little too far over. There we go. The kitties. For some vampire therapist. Bye-bye! Thank you everyone for hanging out. As I mentioned earlier to Jordan Magpie, if this game is too much for you today, I am perfectly happy to swap over and play some Little Witch in the Woods. In fact, I was actually playing a different game called Duet Abyss Night. Duet Night Abyss? I keep forgetting the name. I can just remember the duet part. It's a new anime game that came out recently. I was just testing it out because another streamer that I follow had been sponsored by them. So I am not... Jordan's mentions, I'm just in a dark place mentally, I just don't want to be me today. Yeah, sometimes there are days where you just want to be a different person. I suppose that's the benefit of the internet. You can be anyone you want on the internet. Well, I hope that hanging out with us and seeing all of these crazy vampires makes you feel better in some way. Hopefully that is the case. If not, I hope that something else does. But yes, if Vampire Therapist is too much for anyone, myself included, we will switch to Little Witch in the Woods instead. Either way, we're going to continue from where we left off, which was in the middle of watching this silly little episode. Oh, okay, it's just playing it again, and then... So yeah, there's that silly little thing. Last thing we were doing... Let's check and see if there's an entry. Oh. Jordan said, thank you, Slime Pop. I hope so, too. I just want everyone to be feeling happy and good, so, of course. Thank you guys all for coming and hanging out with me, no matter how you're feeling, and I hope that us hanging out together is a net positive for you. Let's see. This is from a while ago, I think.
That is the toughest spot I ever tackled.
So yeah, he's watching. Last time we were here, Sam was watching some air quote classic literature because he wants to see someone get burned in the butt with an iron. Apparently that's what he prefers to do in his spare time.
Gentlemen, this is to inform you that unless overdue payments for tailoring equipment are made within 24 hours, we will repossess
So I guess the
that
question
equipment.
is,
Balance
do
now
we
due
actually watch this again,
$321.86.
or do we just continue with the day?
Finance Corporation. I, Fleeson, President.
I think we had watched most of this last time I was in the game, so I imagine we can continue.
What we need is a little music to cheer us up.
Alright. Let's see. I'm sure grateful that Andy has some classic cinema to watch in here. It was the very last thing that happened.
Police are frantically scouring the town in search
So we're gonna
of
go
Terry
forward.
Smith.
This is a good one.
Hargan has robbed his 18th consecutive safe in 9 days.
Huh.
A large reward is offered
And then it
for
just
his
lets us
capture.
watch it, I guess.
Does your car have indigestion? Does it burp in the morning? Try no burp.
Does your car have
the only
indigestion?
gasoline containing bicarbonate of soda. Hey Mo, why
I
don't we
think
capture Hargan and collect the reward, then we can
Of
pay
the
our
two
bills.
cats that I have with
It's
me,
as simple as all
I
that.
am the most
Hargan is gonna
fond
walk
of the
right
one
in
in the
here and
front,
let you
just because
capture
I
him.
think the entire
You're nuts.
physique of it turned out
We're
much
going to
better.
be paupers.
I need to figure
Are
out
you
how to
kidding? We're
fix
not
the
even
arms
married.
on the one on the top.
Oh,
I think maybe if I make them a little shorter, they'll look better, but if anyone has any opinions, do let me know.
Well, anyway,
They are pretty cute as is, too.
Oh boy. Amaya Seth.
I can't think when
That
I'm
is some
hungry.
very good advice, Jordan, actually. I'm going to share that with the with everyone over on Twitch as well. Jordan says, also, Slime
a
Pop,
funny
this is
man.
coming from
That's
experience.
how
You
I
can't
would
make
go.
everyone okay. You'll go
did I
insane
do?
if you try to do that. Also, hey, no worries about the bad spelling. You have dyslexia. Yeah, that makes sense. I also have terrible spelling. I think, like, I don't know what it is. It's just like, for some reason, my ability to spell words is horrible. I have so many problems with the, like, when you type something into Google or, like, into Word and it tries to autocorrect it, but it can't figure out what you're trying to spell because you've spelled it so weirdly compared to what it's expecting. So you're just, like, Googling random stuff and, like, hoping one of your variants will pull up an option. But yeah, no worries. Honestly, I'd say you've been spelling really good, so, like, perfect. And I really appreciate the advice. I will definitely keep that in mind. It's my people-pleasing tendencies or something I'm working on. In the future, I will avoid that sort of thing and just go with, well, let's all have some fun together then. I think that's a good thought. I'm just adjusting something in my OBS. Perfect.
What are you stalling around for?
You have 32 mental disorders besides depression. Mood on that one, jeez. Yeah, I've been going to my therapist recently to get my various diagnoses, and even the few I have are a lot of work, so I cannot even imagine. That must be an absolute hurdle.
Here, hurry up and press those.
Let's stop watching
That's
TV.
enough for one night. Time to visit Dreamland. Maybe I'll see my princess there.
That's his horse. 32 mental is just like, well, I guess you'll have some good advice for our vampires we're therapizing today. Maybe you can help me figure out my choices so I don't mess them up like I did last time. I keep mixing up a couple of the cognitive distortions, and I just cannot get them right, like, at all.
Samuel, my dear, I do look forward to our chats.
But, well, either
How
way,
are you
Jordan, I hope that
feeling
you're getting the help that you need for all of your various things that you need help with, and if not, I hope that you do soon. I hope you're able to get what you need. Alright, so Andromachus. It's time for Sam's therapy now.
I gotta confess, boss, I'm a little down. I love helping other vampires, but getting therapy myself sometimes ain't much fun.
I understand. Looking
that
in
makes
the mirror
sense.
is difficult for any human. Much more so when they don't cast a reflection.
Lol.
You ain't kidding. It just seems like there's always work to do, you know? Like my walking in the woods for 90 years wasn't nearly enough time.
I dare say you are correct. I believe that we must never cease our walking in the woods. There is no mystery deeper than that of our own existence.
Yeah, Sam, before he came here, spent, like, the first part of his life being a crazy, violent robber cowboy. And then he went and met some people and, like, lived with them for a while where they taught him about just, like, life and, like, being a person. And then he went and walked in the woods for 90 years to figure out his issues. And, he did his best, but let's just say that he mostly just figured out what the issues were and less so what to actually do about them. I feel like those elements of this game do a really good job because there's never a moment where, like, Sam talks to someone and they're instantly cured. In fact, he's had several conversations that involve the person relapsing or doing something even worse. And he himself has a lot, you know, he spent 90 years learning about all these issues, but he still does a lot of them himself. And I think that's... mental health is a constant thing that we all have to struggle with. And you just gotta focus on getting through the day sometimes, and that's okay. Just do what's best for yourself. Take care of yourself and all that. We will continue with Sam's therapy session.
Where do vampires come from anyway?
Well, Samuel, when two vampires love each other very much...
Come on, boss, that's not what I'm asking. Where do we come from?
Oh, we have a first-time chatter. If you want, you can join if you want to talk in Discord, you can join the Discord server. There's a link on the About page on Twitch. I can also grab that if anyone can't seem to find it. Just let me know. So yeah, I love the vibes here. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. And Jordan... Wow, yeah, so you were a preemie baby, you were born 3 months early. That's crazy, you're not supposed to be here, the doc said. But you're already 26, that's great, good job. Honestly, still being here is hard. So, I just want to thank everyone for doing their best. You deserve it. You are loved and you deserve nice things, which includes still being on this planet. Alright. So it seems like Sam is also discussing the existential crisis of humanity.
The answer to that is much older than recorded history, my friend. But let us focus on you. We should start with some meditation and determine what thoughts are most important to
Time
you
to
right
play
now.
a mini game.
Close your eyes and envision your place of comfort.
I ain't good at being a therapist. Is my hat weird?
I suppose that depends on your
Ich bin
fashion
Sam.
preferences.
Ich bin ein cool man. Election looks real bad back home.
Did you have mood on that one?
Dr. Drain thinks I'm brain damaged. Why'd my mama have to marry that asshole?
Yeah, that's...
When's the sunrise?
You can look that up on Google.
The Senora hates my guts. Sure wish you were still here, Jeb. Actors need help, that's for dang sure. Wish I had more book smarts.
You can learn that. You can always get
Then
more
he
book
scares the
smarts.
heck
That's the
out of me.
nice thing about book smarts.
You're an idiot, Sam, hurting all them folk. Why'd I join up with a gang in the first place?
Because you thought you didn't have a choice.
How are you feeling, my friend?
Pretty good. I gotta say, my head's been a mess of thoughts lately. I think I was afraid of therapy today.
Yeah, the premise behind this specific minigame is that Sam is supposed to just kind of let the thoughts drift by instead of focusing on them. Kind of like, you breathe in, the thought comes in, you breathe
Why is
out,
that,
and you
my
just
friend?
kind of let it
What
go
thoughts
away.
came up?
I think that's a good way to think about it, if that helps. You're gonna keep going on, because you're an uncle to 2 boys and 1 girl, and people rely on you because you're a VTuber. That's really nice. I'm glad that you found something to help bring you joy in this world. That's always good. I've got my own... I think I've just got nieces, actually. I don't think I actually have any No, wait. Maybe technically. I can't remember. I have like 9 siblings, so trying to keep track of like, okay, this one has this many kids, and this one has this many kids, and I'm like... But yeah, that's... I really enjoy being a VTuber as well. I've noticed that just streaming and making shorts and talking to all of you is just, I really enjoy it. I like being here and just hanging out with everyone. Like, you know how they say, like, the dream that can't come true is to have a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life? I would say for me, VTubing definitely is that thing. I enjoy it, so. You're just a YouTuber, not a VTuber yet. Did I misspoke? Words. Did I misspeak and accidentally say VTuber? YouTuber. That's cool. There's a lot of, like, free models and stuff you can get as well. And, like, OBS is free and all that. So if you're ever interested in becoming a VTuber, it's actually surprisingly easy. But yeah, that's cool. Honestly, YouTube seems like a lot more work than just general VTubing. I'm trying to edit a long form video and it's taken me forever, and I've only got a couple hours of footage to go through, so I can't even imagine. Props to you for that. That's a lot of work.
Well, after last time, I think I was stewing a bit. Just being real angry at myself for joining that nasty cult in the first place.
They preyed on the vulnerable, as cults tend to do. If you had been a man of means with a robust support system, I doubt they would have noticed you.
Yeah, I know. And honestly, I'm mad about that too. I mean, my country did me real wrong and put me in that sorry state to begin with.
This sounds like a proverbial can of worms.
Yeah, you could definitely say that. After we talked last time, I kept thinking, what could I have done differently? And the answer amounts to horse shit.
Yeah. Sometimes there is nothing you can do about something.
All that law-breaking I did, all that murdering and stealing and doing no good, that was my country failing me.
Well. Keeps you busy and your mind off the bad things. Yeah, finding something to keep you busy and keep you distracted can be a really good way to help you stay focused. So I'm glad that you have something like that. That's good.
Let us slow down, Samuel.
What type of
You're
content
making
do
a
you
bit of a
usually make
logical
on your
leap.
YouTube?
I have
Because
great
obviously I
admiration
do,
and empathy for you, my
you know,
friend.
gameplay
But it is
and
disrespectful to those
little
you hurt to
tutorial
blame
tip
anyone but yourself.
videos and just kind of silly stuff. Currently I'm working on a long form, like, here's a situation, and then I might do some, this is my opinion on AI or what have you. But I don't really have I haven't settled into a specific niche besides cozy gaming, just because I personally really like cozy games, so I tend to play them a lot. Kitty is doing great. Thank you for asking, Jordan. Tyrael, my cat, just got back from the emergency vet. We took him back over there so they could remove the staples, and they said everything looks great. And actually at home, he started being kind of a menace again, jumping on my desk, knocking my little figurines over, you know, being a little cute pest. So coming up and giving me little nips for my attention and all that. So he's almost completely back to normal. He just has to wear his onesie for a couple more days just to make sure he doesn't, like, mess with anything after the staples are removed, and then he doesn't have to wear it anymore. So he'll be happy about that. But yeah, he's doing great. Everything went well, so I'm very glad about that. Thank you for asking. All right. Andromachus mentioning that Sam took a bit of a leap in that train of thought, which, yeah, he definitely did. Great admiration and empathy, you, but it's respectful to those you hurt to blame anyone but yourself. Yeah?
I mean, I guess I could have died. Suppose that would have been kinder. But that's a lot to ask a boy to do.
I am not suggesting that you should have died. And I do not suggest that your country was without fault. However, your country had its role, and you had yours. You are using a cognitive distortion called blaming. When we engage in blaming, we ignore or wipe away our own faults, attributing them to someone or something else.
Right now, just recording on your iPad, things on your mind. Ooh, food and drink test videos. Halloween Q&A, that sounds fun. I'll have to remember to look at that. Here, I'll have to look. I always like food and drink test videos. I think those are really fun to watch. Let me put your name over here in this little note so I don't forget to check, because I'm curious. Do you have a specific type of food and drink you normally like to test, or is it just like whatever draws your attention? All right, let's look at the blaming cognitive distortion he just told us. Blaming is kind of the opposite of personalization. Instead of everything being about us, we act like it's all about someone else. Yep, sometimes we're at fault and just don't want to admit that we have some control. When we can't admit contributing to our own problems, we point the finger at someone else, and that's blaming, a distortion that needs fixing. You also do mental health videos talking about, like what you do with your own and trying to help people. That's great. That's one of the reasons I actually have some of my health conditions in my tags, because I want to be able to talk to people about it and like bring more awareness to the situations that people are in and also potentially help some people. So I think that's great. That's awesome. I know it can be really hard to talk about some of that sort of thing, so like it's great that you've decided to do that for people. All right, let's read our examples. It's the barkeep's fault I lost my money at poker. He shouldn't have served me so much whiskey. I stubbed my toe on... Oh, and just in case anyone is curious, Jordan Magpie Bullet... So it's Jordan Magpie Bullet YouTube. Is... Their Halloween Q&A will be up tomorrow, so if anyone's curious about that, you can go over there and check. I stubbed my toe on my coffin because someone must have moved it. I only missed my target because the gun maker messed up somehow.
Our faults are precious, Samuel. We cannot be ourselves without them. Do not wipe them away.
I mean, I just wish things hadn't been the way they were. If my country had taken a better trail, maybe I would have turned out different.
Differently. I am sorry to interrupt, but Senora Deste might correct you less gently. Now then, perhaps it would help to put blaming into perspective. It is always humbling to see ourselves in the mirrors of our minds, is it not? Let's try some examples. See if you can tell when I am blaming.
It's example time.
I turned into a bat the other day and flew right into a tree. Who put that tree there?
Blaming someone else, or the tree, for you being clumsy, that ain't gonna do anyone much good.
Alright, anything for food and drinks. Nice. Your disorder is autism, so I'm really picky about what food and stuff I drink, so I'm always trying new things. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I also have some of that issue. In my case, it's mostly related to sense of taste. I do have some, like, eating issues that are likely related to my most likely autism. I'm still waiting to find someone to help me get that fully diagnosed, because, adult diagnosis is, like, impossible to get in my area with your insurance. So, but yeah, I have a really sensitive sense of taste, so it can be really hard for me to find things I can eat, because if it has, like, the wrong ingredients in it, or, like, I know I know a lot of people who have texture issues, so, like, trying to find stuff that you like can be a really big thing. So it's really cool that you're making all those videos and sharing them so other people can use them for reference. It's always nice to be able to look something up and be like, what is this? Like, what is the texture? What does it taste like? And have someone who's like, here is that information for you. And you're like, awesome.
I smacked into my fair share of trees back when I was a youngster, but that was definitely my fault.
Of course, there is no shame in being a novice flyer as a young vampire, but we can be insecure creatures. That's our humanity at work. I was unable to perform in bed with Crimson the other night. It must have been her fault.
Dang, that is some blaming. Takes two to tango, boss. Maybe there's some bad blood brewing between you two. Man, I wish I hadn't heard about it.
I was about to say, that's a little too much info for him. I don't think he wants to know that.
Do not worry, my friend. Crimson and I bring each other great satisfaction.
I don't think he wants to know that either.
All right, I get it.
I said nothing lurid, Samuel. Why are you so distressed?
Singing great satisfaction. It's like hearing your parents talking about their sex lives. Forget I said anything.
All right, Samuel, let us move on. The interface on this widely used new vampire dating app is so modern. How do they expect anyone to use this cursed thing? We are trying to identify only the interface on this widely used... Did you see the football game the other night? My preferred team played with great skill and should have won. The referee was clearly an agent of the Dark Lord.
And now hold on, Andy. I think I saw the game you're talking about, and you're just blaming the ref for your team's mistakes. You got a great tight end, but one that plays a little dirty.
Excuse me?
I didn't mean it like that. Oh, heck, I can't talk right today.
It's quite all right. Isn't getting dirty the point of play? It is the fault of the cursed sun that we must live in darkness.
I guess that's technically blaming,
There are some
but that's
blaming
also
distortions
just
you missed in
true.
there, my friend. I turned into a bat the other day and flew. I was unable to the interface on this. Did you see the flu? It is the fault of...
Well, the sun can't help being the sun, so don't go blaming it. The way I see it, we got our place, and that ain't nobody's fault.
Ah, yeah. Also talking about stuff in the lines of Arukigahara Forest and why it's not worth it. Yeah, I think that's good. Because you never know what might help someone out of a bad spot, so... It's like, it's really cool that you're doing that for people. And there's also a lot of things people just don't know about that kind of thing. There's a lot of people who are surprised to hear about, you know, the rates in different countries and the way people struggle because of different cultural stuff and just all that kind of thing. So it can be a real eye-opener for people who maybe aren't as kind as they should be about certain things, and can also be a big help to people who just need a little bit more to help them through the day.
Well done, Samuel. Perhaps the sun is even more brilliant in our memories, and seeing the real thing would spoil it.
Well, that's one way of thinking about it.
There are some blaming distortions you missed in there, my friend.
Oh, were all
I
of
was
them?
unable to... The interface on this widely...
Come on now, boss. Not every app out there is designed too good, but we can't expect machines to run themselves. Now, that's some blaming right there.
Ah, so... The reason that you're not seeing Jordan's messages is because Jordan is over on YouTube. So you would need to be watching the stream on YouTube to be able to see that. That's why. That's why I'm reading Jordan's messages out loud, because unfortunately Twitch has this rule where you're not allowed to have messages from other platforms showing on your screen, so I can only show the Twitch messages and not the YouTube messages. But if you want to be able to see them, you can go over there. Yeah, Jordan says, because the most happiest person is... Because the most happiest person is the one most in need of the most help. Yeah. Usually the people who seem like they're the happiest are the ones who end up needing the most help. That's definitely true. And yeah, you can probably see that on the screen, Jordan, but Vetamon, that's my mom, says hi. She likes to come by in the stream now and again. I'm surprised you're awake at this time, actually. Thought you were going to be asleep. Let's see. Yeah, there we go.
You are correct, Samuel. It was only hypothetical, of course. I do endeavor to keep up with the times.
Yeah, it is only like 8:30 right now.
By the way, thank you again for teaching me Control-V and Control-C the other night. What a delightful trick.
I've actually had to teach people that, too. Jordan says, hi, Vad, hugs for you.
Oh, yeah. Way faster than going through the edit menu all the time.
You
Yep.
youngsters always find the latest tricks.
Hugs back.
Let's keep going, though.
I think I get it. I ain't trying to erase what I did. I'm just bitter that I felt like I had no choice at all. And it all goes back to the United States taking my daddy away for their manifest destiny. I'm mad at him, too. Dying for his country. What kind of nonsense is that? How'd his country pay him back? By making my poor ma marry a drunk who beat the daylights out of her and his kids? Ain't no damn wonder I turned out the way I did.
Bro, you literally just had this
That must have
conversation.
been devastating, Samuel. Countries are not human. They cannot feel. And stories such as yours prove it.
I mean, what the hell, Andy? My daddy's corpse didn't give a shit about no United States of America. It's kind of funny when you think about it. He died fighting the British so the U.S. could say they own Missouri. Who the fuck cares? I'm telling you, Andy, the best thing about being dead is realizing how little that nationalism
Desire for identity can create
How little that
monsters worse than
nationalism
we.
crap matters.
What happened after your father died?
Oh, Jordan says you're going to join the Discord server as soon as you can. That's great. Yeah, if you need the link or anything, just let me know and I can, like, put it somewhere easier. But yeah, if you're on... it should be on my YouTube as well. If you go to the main page of my channel, you should be able to see it in my, like, description section. You should be able to click the more, and that'll show you all of my various links. I think YouTube should be the first... Twitch should be the first one, but when you go to the more, it should show all of the links up there. So, looking forward to seeing you in there. Desire for identity can create monsters worse than we. What happened
But
after?
we didn't have nothing. The money was running out, so my ma got married to a hard man who drank even harder.
Yep, yeah, there's the... Yep, there's the... I have the links to everything on all of my social medias. So the links to my, you know, YouTube, Twitter, Blue Sky, Tumblr, Discord server is on my Twitch, it's on my YouTube, it's on my, you know, Twitter, Blue Sky, Tumblr. I wanted all of the links to be everywhere, so it was really easy for people to find.
He beat up my older brother, Jeb, for fun. And once Jeb started fighting back, dear old stepdad came for me. And that's when my brother killed him.
It sounds like a tragedy from my own country's mythology. I am sorry that such a thing happened to you, Samuel. Your brother was brave.
No kidding. We went on the run together, but he was the one who kept us alive and fed, mostly through stealing and begging. Once we stopped being cute, begging didn't work anymore, so we moved up to robbing and killing. Killed my first man at 12, and then it got a little too easy.
That is young. I cannot imagine how difficult that must have been, Samuel. My country asked me to kill at 20, and I still remember how devastating it felt.
Yeah, well, nobody told me to do it. Like you said, that was all me. I don't think anyone was surprised either. When my brother and I rode into a town, you should have seen the way people looked at us. They knew we were trouble, and we were determined as hell to prove them right.
A moment, Samuel. I believe this is an opportunity for some growth.
It's them distortions again, huh?
To err is human, as they say. Do not be discouraged. There is something in what you just said that you cannot be sure of. Can you tell me what it is?
These options are really funny. The I stopped being cute, the people knew we were trouble, and nationalism is neat, actually. I'm gonna start with I stopped being cute, just because I think that'd be a funny response. But yeah, I forgot to say this a moment ago. The nice thing about the Discord server is, like, not only do I share a little bit of extra things in there, but it's a nice place to chat when I'm not streaming. We can share games, chat about random stuff, so it's lots of fun.
Is it that I stopped being cute?
Well, yes, that is certainly a distortion. My patrons have told me they find you adorable. But I was looking for a different distortion.
I go, he's like, well, yes, but...
I guess there ain't no way of knowing that people thought we were trouble.
That's right, Samuel. There is one way of knowing exactly what they were thinking, and that would be to read their minds. Thus is the cognitive distortion called mind reading. Yes, we can weigh evidence and make predictions, but never with complete certainty.
Let's look at that. Mind reading. When we assume somebody's thoughts, they have no opportunity to prove otherwise. People usually imagine I'm sitting here thinking about horses, but that's only true some of the time. It's mind reading to invent someone else's thoughts. We can't know them. Examples. That hombre there is real quiet. He must be plotting against me. My blood partner's thinking of leaving me for a sexier vampire. He didn't say so, I just know it. When that lady saw my fangs, she must have thought I would sound like Bela Lugosi. That's obviously a joke, but I don't, like, fully get it because I don't recognize that name.
I was a dirty little thieving murderer. I don't blame him for judging me.
First, that's labeling. Second, one of those people might have been patient and gentle, one that had an experience like yours. You cannot know.
Yeah.
With your mind reading, do you see how you made everyone your enemy?
That's gonna be a problem that, so I think that these blaming and mind reading are definitely gonna be useful when I'm talking to Medi, who's like the really old vampire.
Yeah. You're right. You're damn right.
No one expects a child to be perfectly aware of themselves and the world, Samuel. Remember, start with compassion for yourself. Here, let us do an exercise to help you recognize mind reading. Jesus Christ would have disliked the idea of anal intercourse.
All right.
I know that's mind reading right there. Unless you asked Jesus Christ himself and he told you, there's no way you'd know how he feels about butt sex.
Very good, Samuel. Many in my time have claimed to know the mind of Jesus Christ, and none of them have ever even met him.
You were there when he was kicking around. You ever meet him?
No, that part of the world was never really vampire-friendly.
Bela Lugosi was the silent movie Oh, who played the original Dracula. Okay. That makes sense. That would explain why he mentioned him.
The chair you're sitting in is one of his, though. Magnificent, isn't it?
Jesus Christ made this chair?
I bought it cheaply before he became a big deal. He was certainly ahead of his time as a carpenter.
Dang. Now I feel awkward sitting in this thing.
It's more than 2,000 years old, Samuel. It is still just a chair and has experienced millennia of past wind. Don't worry about it.
Lots
Crimson
of
is
people
upset
be
with me
farting
because
in
I
that.
forgot to take out the garbage. I know, because she told me so. I sent my friend Vlad an internet message, and he left it on red. He must hate me.
This right here is so hard to deal with when you're like, you send someone a message or you talk to them about or like whatever, and they don't respond right away, and then your brain starts that spiral of like, oh god, what did I do wrong? What if they hate me? And you're like, whew, that is something I also struggle with a lot, that I have to work with, and I'm just like, that's really hard to deal with. Like, well, I messed up and everyone hates
That's
me now.
some mind reading for sure. There's no way you know what Vlad's thinking. Maybe he wasn't ready to answer, or maybe he forgot.
Excellent, Samuel. That's correct. There are endless reasons why Vlad would leave my messages on red, and only Vlad knows them. Reading too much into an internet message is a massive waste of time.
The Pony Express was a lot healthier, I think. This internet stuff makes people get real nutty.
Personally, I think people have always been kind of nutty. It's just the internet lets you see everyone's nutty all at the same time. Yeah, Jordan says, yeah, me too, Slime Pop, right? That one's always real hard to deal with because you don't want to constantly be going to people and being like, you don't hate me, right? Because that, that's a little bit. So you're trying to figure out that balance. Also, if you said, also your brain's like, but if you say that and they don't, maybe they will now. Yeah, Vadamon saying that obsessing over a friend's message for 2 days, and the other day they didn't respond, and then they're like, oh, by the way, we're fine. Like, oh, thanks. It's like when someone sends you a message that's like, we need to talk, and you're like, about what? I've happened a couple times where I had to respond to someone and be like, I need you to tell me what we need to talk about, because otherwise I am gonna have like an anxiety spiral for the entire time we are not speaking. Like, I need to know what this is. Thanks. But yeah, like, a lot of people are like, oh, is the internet to blame? Is like, yeah, and before that it was the radio, and before that it was books, and before that it was, so it's like, people have always been kind of crazy. It's just, the internet makes it a lot easier for crazy people to find more crazy people to solidify their opinion, I think. But it's just how, like, if there's a big group of people with one opinion in an area, it's a lot easier for people to fall into that group if they share that opinion.
Mortals are in more of a rush than we are, I'm afraid. Let us continue. One of the patrons of my club was having dirty thoughts about me. I know because I read his mind with my vampiric powers. I told our bouncer Bert a funny joke the other day. He was quiet, but very amused.
How the heck would you know if Bert was amused by your jokes? That's clearly mind reading.
You are correct, Samuel. No one knows what Bert is thinking.
Except Bert.
I like to think he dreams of butterflies. But who can say?
I don't think he's thinking of butterflies.
Then you are mind reading, Samuel. Let Bert be Bert.
Yeah, I guess so.
I believe you now understand that mind reading may have closed the door on some opportunities for you.
Jordan, yeah, as Jordan says, or when someone says, don't worry about me, it does the opposite, right? Like, no, it's like, hey, you okay? Yeah, no, I'm totally fine. Are you sure? Yeah, it's funny how that sort of thing works. We need to talk about this. Is everything okay? Yeah, it's totally fine. I don't believe you. Like,
I suppose. I can't really know either way, but I guess that's the point of all this. Knowing what's real and what's not.
Exactly, Samuel. So tell me, what happened to you and your brother?
You don't know already. I thought we were famous Wild West outlaws. They called us the Handsome Boys.
Yeah,
on account of the
struggle's
fact
real.
we were young and good looking.
for sure.
I think we made as close to a living as possible while keeping up a life like that for some 35 years. They stopped calling us the Handsome Boys eventually. Mostly they just called us those two sumbitches.
Lol.
Jeb and I married a pair of sisters, even talked about settling down in some kind of fashion. I guess we got greedy though. One last big job, as they say in the pictures. Met this fella in a saloon who'd heard of us. Went by Ernie. He said he'd help us take down the Pioneer Missouri Bank. A take of $30,000 split 3 ways.
In that period of time, that is so much fucking money.
That's about $1 million in today's dollars, but that kind of money was unthinkable back when. We got the money all right, but my brother got shot in the head. Dead before he even hit the ground. I didn't know who did it. So in my rage, I killed every soul in that bank. Ernie and I ran off with that dirty money, but weren't nothing the same after that. When she heard the news, my sister-in-law was screaming so loud she scared the coyotes away. My wife left with her that night, and I didn't see either of them ever again.
So I can't say for sure that this is a sunk cost fallacy thing, but it reminds me of that because it's like the gambling struggle, you know, where you're like, oh, just a little bit more and I'll win bigger, or just a little bit more and I'll finally win, or just a little bit more and I'll stop losing or recoup my losses or whatever. Like, they managed to make a living. They found, you know, two women who liked them and they wanted to get married, and they got married and they had a new life. But instead of being happy with that, it was just, but one more thing. And it's like, I wonder if it's the lack of having things when they were young that just made them want more and more and more and more things, you know? Like they felt like they deserved it or what. Obviously, I'm not, you know, privy to the character's internal thought monologue, but yeah, it's that kind of thing. Or sometimes some people feel like they have to keep doing bad things because, like, well, that's just the kind of person they are, so they, like, self-sabotage. They feel like they don't deserve something nice, so they keep going back and doing the things that put them in a position they feel like they deserve. Nice. Jordan says that, his mom has cancer and pneumonia. Actually, that happened to my mom at one point, too, at the moment. She's getting better. So, you know, Slime Pop, she's on antibiotics, just taking her meds for cancer. That's good. I'm glad she's getting better. Yeah, I have my mom had that happen to her as well. That can be really scary. So I'm glad that she's feeling better. That's good. That's a good thing. Sorry, my brain is not working words, but I'm glad she's feeling better. I hope she continues to feel better. And I know some of those meds can be really difficult. I'm on immunosuppressants, which are for my autoimmune disease. And I know that sometimes when you have like transplants or cancer or whatever, you have to take that sort of thing. And I know that can just wipe you out. So my cat, who was in the office with me, has awoken, and he is pestering me now for food. So we are going to take a very short break while I get him some food and then close my office doors so he can't be a menace anymore. So if anyone has to go to the bathroom, wants to get some water, eat some food, grab any of that stuff, take your meds, now's the time. I will be right back. temporarily back. I did go and get the cat some food, but I do have to also go to the bathroom, so if you were worried about not having enough time, go do what you're gonna do. I'll be back. BRB Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. I return. Alright. Bloop. We shall continue with Sam's very depressing story.
Not sure I wanted to. I had $15,000 and no interest in spending it. Just sat there in a sack. When Ernie invited me to join his gang, I saw no reason not to. I'm pretty sure I signed that devil's contract as soon as I started killing them folks in the bank.
No, I'm pretty sure that Ernie intentionally saw that you guys were about to get out of that. That's a good idea. Jordan suggests to take a deep breath, count to 3, exhale, and keep doing that to refocus. I am getting a little bit adrenaline from running around with the little kitty and the game. I also drink some water. Thank you for the suggestion, Jordan. Much appreciated. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that Sam, like, I wouldn't be surprised if this Ernie fellow saw that the two of them were gonna get out and was like, nah, I need to drag these guys back in.
I am sorry, Samuel. That is a truly horrifying story.
Yeah.
I can hear the pain in your voice. Your brother was precious to you.
Yeah. He wasn't a good man, Andy. But he kept me safe. Without him, I knew I'd be doomed. I was certain I had no choice but to join the Mystic Bastards. Yeah, I know. Cognitive distortion.
I know you know, Samuel. A new one, but I think you can identify it on your own. What is the cognitive distortion you are displaying now?
Sometimes the choices they give are, like, very obvious. My brother wasn't a bad man. I mean, I suppose that's, but, like, $15,000 wasn't that much money, and I was too sure of my fate. I think this is probably the one, but I might...
Well, maybe my brother wasn't that bad a man.
Good and bad are both often inaccurate extremes, but it is a new distortion I am trying to help you identify, not Nosferatu thinking. Think again.
Lemon water. You know, I've always had trouble with lemon water, mostly because, because my sense of taste is so strong, when I drink lemon water, it just tastes like it's not flavored enough and it kind of bothers me. But weirdly enough, I don't have that problem with cucumber water. No idea why.
I was so sure I was right to join the Mystic Bastards. Ain't nobody could have convinced me otherwise.
But yeah, lemon water is a good suggestion for anyone who, you know, doesn't struggle with that taste issue, lol.
Indeed, Samuel. This cognitive distortion is known as being always right. And when you are always right, your choices are limited, even if they lead to doom.
All right, let's read our little book. Always right. We all get things wrong sometimes, and we all know it. But in the heat of the moment, we might get so worked up we feel everything we say is correct. We might double down on opinions or even reject opposition first thing. In those moments, all our beliefs feel always right. Disagreements have nuance, and although we might get a lot right, we're not always right. Examples. The evidence is irrefutable. Bram Stoker was a vampire himself. You just take straight lemon juice and it helps you calm down a bit. That's cool. Yeah, I usually just take a deep breath. I think that does help. I know the way through the canyon. No need to check the map. Don't question me. Blending in with mortals? I've done that for years. I know what I'm doing and I don't need changing now.
We become so convinced that only we have the appropriate perspective, even in a world of infinite possibilities. One would expect immortals to be immune to this distortion after seeing their beliefs challenged over generations, but we are just as susceptible to being always right. Let's try some examples so you can identify when I am always right. I have the experience of ages. My authority cannot be questioned.
Okay,
One's
Boomer.
easy. Lol.
Excuse me?
Just something I hear the kids say when old mortal folk are acting like they're always right. The folks born after World War II are real good at destroying the world, but they assume age leads to wisdom. It ain't necessarily so.
All right, ads are going to start in a minute, so I'm going to continue through this, and then we'll pause once the ads start for the folks over on Twitch so they don't miss anything.
You are always right about that. Well done, Sam. With my multi-generational economic expertise, I am confident that market conditions will result in mass layoffs in the next quarter.
I think
I know that
fine.
turning another into a vampire inevitably results in resentment.
That sounds like you're always right. I know a lot of us vampires ain't too happy with our lot in life, but we ain't always resentful.
Yeah.
That is correct, Samuel. Of course, we must be careful when choosing whom we turn and when. Choosing to live forever is not a choice casually made.
Yep.
It ain't usually a choice at all.
That makes
But
it
we
worse.
will endeavor to break that cycle, my friend. We have enough clients already without having more resentful immortals running around.
Yeah.
Let us continue. I know for a fact that vampires become misanthropic as they age. I do not need your perspective.
And now hold on, you ain't always right. You thinking we're gonna turn into misanthropes is limiting you from making new vampires, but that's just your thinking.
All right, so the ad should be starting shortly, so we're going to take a short little break. I will pop over to chatting so we can hang out while the ads are going down. We can look at the cute little kitties. I'm going to shift how I'm sitting while we're doing that. Try not to hit my microphone. Oh, right. You're going to hear me move away from my microphone. The cat stole my chair earlier when he was going to sleep, so I'm going to swap chairs. All right. Don't mind me moving the chairs around. The ad's gonna start at some point, or? There we go. I'm like, Yeah, I think this is the third contest I've ever won in my whole life. The one that I got the stuff from, they gave me the cute little ice cube tray. Because I got a Pokeball bracelet when I was like a teenager. I won a contest on Facebook for that. And then I think I won like a video card at one point. And then this recent one, where I was doing you know how like a lot of games will have those, post a thing on here, and if you're selected as the winner, you get some merch. I happened to win one of those, which was cool. So I got some, like... Oh, Jordan's wondering, also, no offense, but are you using a filter, or is that just your real voice? And yeah, no offense taken, and yes, this is just how I sound in real life. The only thing I have on my microphone is one of those, like, shield things to help avoid, like, like my fingernails or like my keyboard sounds. Not that it works very well, but yeah, no, this is just how I sound in real life. Obviously with a slight adjustment from I'm talking into a microphone and you're not hearing me with like your human ears, you know? But yeah, no, the first time I heard myself recorded, I was also surprised by my own voice. I was like, wow, my voice is a lot higher pitched than it sounds in my head. What the heck? I also sometimes laugh. I'm like, I sound like an anime character or something. Damn, what the heck? So yeah, no, I will not be offended by that question because I was also incredulous the first time I heard myself recorded. Okay, so my mom has confirmed that I do sound like I do in real life, so apparently this microphone's working pretty well. And yeah, Jordan says, because my voice sounds like a character from a video game. That's crazy. Is it like a specific character, or I just sound like I would be in a video game? Like, that's really cool, but also kind of funny. It's like one of those, yeah. So yes, apparently this microphone is doing very well because my mom, who obviously knows me in real life, has confirmed that I sound like I do in real life, so. Yeah, I have my fancy, very old Yeti microphone. This microphone is almost old enough to watch this stream. Both. Oh, so I both sound like a character that would be in a video game and a specific character. Cool. Welcome back, everyone. We were discussing the fact that I do not use any filters or anything. This is, in fact, my actual real voice. My mom has even confirmed that this microphone is very accurate. What character, out of curiosity, so like obviously there's the I sound like any character. I sound like I could be in a game, but I'm curious what game character I sound like. Just dancing to the music in the background. But yeah, it's good to know the microphone's working well. I was a little concerned, especially because it's a little hard to test myself because I don't hear myself the way I actually sound. Like, in my head, my voice sounds a lot deeper than it does when I get recorded, so it always throws me off a bit. But I've heard that's really common, that a lot of people's voices don't sound the same to them as they do to other people, so. We will shift back over to showing stuff while I await Jordan's what character I sound like, because I'm curious what specific character. Ah, a couple, but you can't think of them off the top of your head. I hate it when that happens. I'm so bad with names, so I'll be like, I recognize this. And someone will be like, from what? And I'm like, I have no idea. Alright, so the last thing was Sam doing the pointing out of
Caution
the
is warranted when bringing
always
a new
right.
soul into the dark, but I must consider perspectives other than my own. I have not had much good fortune with my children of darkness, but I am indeed not the only judge of character.
If you do think of it later, feel free to message it, just like ping me about it in the chat, or if stream is over, when you eventually join the Discord, you can always let me know in there, lol.
You got kids, Andy?
I had many dark children before I recognized the gravity inherent in doing so. I only wish more of my brethren could learn what a responsibility it is to begin the unlife of another.
Yeah. Perfect. Jordan says he'll think of them and let you know next stream. All right, next I will be streaming on Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific, so if you do end up in the Discord by then, you can feel free to let me know there. Otherwise, next stream is perfect. Looking forward to it. I'm very curious.
I know the internet is a passing fad. I have seen technology come and go, so I can trust my own expertise.
I think you're doing a little always right there, Andy. A lot of folks had unwavering confidence that the fax machine was going to stick around forever, but they weren't ready either.
I think in, well, one, we do still have fax machines, but it's actually, if Jordan isn't in the Discord by that point, I will try to remember to share that piece of info in the Discord, if it happens next stream, since you're curious. Like, it's actually interesting seeing in different countries how technology has advanced. Like, I remember hearing a bit from the comedian Trevor Noah, like back when he was first starting out, how he was talking about like that you'd go places and you'd see a bunch of people on their smartphones marveling over the wonder of technology that is the escalator, because they'd never seen one before. People would come from miles around just to see an escalator, and they'd be taking pictures of with their smartphones and stuff. So it's that kind of thing. Or like how in Japan, they still have, like, fax machines are a major part of, like, the way things were working there for a really long time after they fell out of favor in other countries. So it's just kind of interesting seeing the difference between how different countries handle their technology and how long things stick around.
Truly? I still use my fax machine. It is the preferred mode of communication among vampires here in Germany.
Ironically, literally what I was just saying.
Heck, I guess that just proves no one is always right about technology. I think I get it, boss. If I had found folks to listen to other than myself, maybe I wouldn't have joined up with Ernie's gang.
Perhaps, perhaps not. You had plenty of reasons for making the choices you made.
That's a good point.
Reflecting on them,
the
is what
IRS will
helps us
only
to
accept
grow.
documents by fax as a security reason.
Yeah, I'm a lucky fellow all in all. I did some stuff with those vampires that I was pretty sure erased any humanity I had left, but I was wrong. Them transcendentalists I hold up with were ready to help me no matter how nasty I was. And I know I've done a lot of thinking on my own, but I owe them everything.
I've done a lot of thinking on my own, but I owe them everything. Is that so, Samuel? Can you point out your own distortion there?
It's my old favorite sneaking up on me, disqualifying the
I
positive.
kind of assumed,
I
because
did plenty of
otherwise
work
why
on
would this
myself.
one have been sitting here the whole time if I couldn't use it until now?
That's right, Samuel. And why were the transcendentalists able to help you? We just went over it tonight.
I wasn't assuming they thought I was scum, which would have been mind reading. I'll let them help me.
Excellent, Samuel.
Yay!
Your capacity for
guessed
self-reflection,
correctly.
and so quickly, is truly inspiring. I almost feel as though my blood is circulating on its own.
The things that he says sometimes.
Oh, come on, Andy. I'm just a fella.
You have earned a reprieve from disqualifying the positive, my friend. Embrace it. I believe we have had a productive session today. Let us not press matters. This is difficult work, and you are handling it wonderfully. How do you feel?
You know, I feel okay. Somehow it's better than feeling good. What happened is what happened. Some bad stuff happened to me, and I did some bad stuff.
One sec. I'm fine. I just got excited, and when I swallowed to speak, I swallowed some saliva, so I'm just muting so I don't hack into the microphone. I hate it when that happens. Okay, so Jordan said, fun fact, the fax machine was invented when the samurai and Lincoln were around. That reminds me of that Tumblr post. I should see if I can find it. Tumblr D&D party samurai pirate. Let's see. Okay, I think I found it. Here it is. It was originally by Procopets on Tumblr. Actually, I think I can just show this to you guys. Ta-da! Okay. So it starts with consider Victorian England, 1837 to 1901. American Old West, 1803 to 1912. Meiji Restoration, 1868 to 1912. French privateering in the Gulf of Mexico ended circa 1830. Conclusion: an adventuring party consisting of a Victorian gentleman thief, an Old West gunslinger, a disgraced former samurai, and an elderly French pirate is actually 100% historically plausible. It really just comes down to whether a given individual or group is looking for reasons to include or reasons to exclude. Hypothetical groups like this can go a lot further than this, too. They actually link to some other posts. The American Civil War was in the time period of the samurai, and yeah, it's crazy how some of these things overlap. Today on Medieval POC, we brainstormed historically accurate Asian women as Robin Hood in the medieval period, with possible Trotula, the medieval gynecologist, as a married woman, touched on 30 ways to become an immortal from a non-Western perspective, including eating mermaid meat. That one's really interesting. I actually know some about the mermaid meat thing. Revisiting the accurately diverse demographics of the Caribbean, and possibility thereof, including LGBT pirates. Saw some average peasants of color from the Renaissance doing their peasant thing, learned about the legendary beauty of an enslaved man named Paul in revolutionary France, attempted to clarify the socio-political nuances of terminology, religion, and race in 16th century Spain and Portugal, and called out Gilgamesh for being a raging tryhard in one day. No writer or creator is limited by history or historical accuracy. So basically the thing here is that, like, as long as you're trying to include something, you can find a reason in most cases. And then, of course, Spader7 shared the art, which is just great, which is why I wanted to show this. Okay, I want this really bad, so I made this real quick. As much as I absolutely adore this, you'd probably have to come up with a fairly good reason for them all to meet up together in the first place. I mean, MLK and Anne Frank were born in the same year, but they lived on different continents and had no opportunity to meet, which, side comment, this is also something that people lose their minds over. I'm not saying these cross-cultural interactions are impossible, but choosing a certain region with an era isn't necessarily exclusionary. It just doesn't occur to people, or rather most writers in general, how well these eras matched up or how to connect extremely varied backgrounds. Just make it a fighting game and you're good, though. I didn't pick these roles at random, mine. All four are outlaws of some description, and thus have incentive to travel outside their native range, and in particular, all four of them would have any number of plausible excuses for ending up in San Francisco during the late 1860s or early 1870s. Once you got them within shouting distance of each other, getting them in the same adventuring party is simply a matter of plot. I like the Invisible Melon Moose, who was the one who said that earlier, was like, I feel dumb for not picking up on that. I'd definitely be curious to know what kind of hijinks they'd get into. And then they ask why San Fran. They usually picture New York. San Francisco in the early 1870s is both very prosperous and a wretched hive of scum and villainy. It's plausible for a Vaquero and a Roman samurai to meet there by chance. New York's on the entirely wrong coast. And then they link to something about Emperor Norton. Josiah Abraham Norton was a resident of San Francisco who declared himself the Emperor of the United States. He took the secondary title of Protector of Mexico. I guess they just mean he's a very interesting person. So yeah, lots of interesting stuff going on. But anyway, I really like that post. Whoops. You guys don't need to see that. I forgot to turn that off, lol. That's just my stuff I was looking at for, let me double check the name again, because I keep messing it up. For Duet Night Abyss that I was playing earlier, lol. Jordan mentions that, like American Wizard, I'll post to the Discord once I join. Nice. D&D with country is D&D classes like Canada, Barbarian, and America, as the title says. That's great. I can't wait to see that when you join. That'll be really fun. I love all those kinds of crazy things.
None of it lasts forever. That's the nice thing about having all the time in the world.
Your trials have made you wise indeed, my dear Samuel. Now rest, my friend. You shall soon share your wisdom with your clients. I wish you a good night.
Yeah, I believe it's early coffin time for me tonight. Have a good night, Andy.
You as well, Samuel. Rest in peace.
I know I say this every time, but every time, that rest in peace just cracks me up.
Samuel, greetings. You look a bit pale. May I offer you something to drink?
Okay, so good. There he has just not been adding stuff. I catch trench broom. That's great. Oh. All right, June 10th, 2024. It's been a hell of a month. I've got a full caseload of clients, I'm picking up new friends at Immernacht, and Andy says I've been doing a great job. I learned 3 more cognitive distortions tonight, and I think I'm really getting the hang of this thing. I'm also learning a lot about Crimson. There's something special about that lady. I can see why Andy's a fan of hers. Seems like she could be doing a lot more than running a bar, but maybe that's me doing some should statements. That is you doing some should statements. Let people live their life. Oh, I took a little trip to Dresden. Heck of a place. They had this emperor named Augustus the Strong who spent all Germany's money on porcelain. Wish I could have been his therapist. Lol.
Yeah, you got any drinker's blood?
I know you are joking. You will not dilute your blood before a session.
Yeah, I know, you're right. I just don't know who I'm meeting tonight. Is it gonna be Dr. Drain or that Lord Luridus fella?
You only met a single individual last time, and you will meet only a single individual this time. Do not let Dr. Drain's avoidance of accountability confuse you.
You saw the guy, though. Lord Luridus ain't nothing like Dr. Drain.
And why do you think that is, Samuel?
I keep saying the trench room comment and laughing. That's such a funny, like, that gives me like the Wizard War vibes. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that. It's the series of videos on like YouTube and various other video places where there'll be like wizards casting crazy spells at people. Trench broom definitely seems like one of those crazy Wizard War spells. All of these comments are very funny, but I think it's probably this one. Though, I do wonder if they're intentionally ignoring systems, or if it's like an accident, like they weren't thinking about the fact that... And Canada is making Geneva checklist grow. Yeah, indeed. I love all the jokes about that whole, like, people being like, no, wait, don't tell Canada there's a war, and Canada's like, hey... I could use with some updating of my Geneva checklist, or whatever. It's like time to make some new war crimes. Because, like, one thing that I keep thinking about is people who are systems do identify as multiple people. And it seems kind of rude to imply that someone with an alternate personality is only one person if you haven't, like, confirmed that, you know? Because I feel like there's a difference between, like, a system and just someone whose personality has fractured due to that. You would know you're Canadian. Perfect. See, we have Jordan here, who is my brain just totally died there. Yeah, no, the Geneva thing is not actually a joke, as Jordan says. It's true, and they're not joking. If anyone is curious, I imagine Jordan might be able to explain it better, but I've also heard about that too. Basically, the entire reason the Geneva Convention exists is entirely because of shit Canada was pulling. Like, that's not even a joke, that is almost completely true. Like, they were doing some stuff that was so insane that the rest of the world was like, okay, we need something to say that no one can ever do that again, because what the fuck? And yeah, I was trying to make a joke about, like, you know, perfect. Now, if we have any questions about Canada, we have here our paragon of knowledge, but my brain just died. It's like, nah, I'm not going to give you any words for that thought you're having. I was like, oh, perfect. But anyway, assuming that Dr. Drain is not in fact a system and is just suppressing his desires and then allowing them to come forward and blaming someone else.
Well, maybe it's easier for Dr. Drain to blame Lord Luridus.
Correct, Samuel. A mild change in personality would be within Dr. Drain's control. Luridus is not, and therefore, Dr. Drain relinquishes control. Prepare yourself, my friend. Let us find the darkness that lives within Dr. Drain.
Alright. So, for Dr. Drain, I'm definitely going to take blaming. And disqualifying the positive. I'm gonna drink some water and clear my throat, and then I'll read what Jordan said. Alright. Said, no, it was because of Canada was being insane. We throw food and grenade to the starving Germans. Right? Alright, so he always disqualifies his own work. He definitely blames people. I think I'm gonna do control fallacy because he does like to think he's always in control. And then Overgeneralization. That sounds like a good batch.
All right, I think I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Do not fear, Samuel. I shall not let Dr. Drain hurt you, no matter what he is calling himself. Do what you do best.
I will, I promise. And here
Insert
he comes,
Canada being
whoever
Canada
he is
meme
today.
here.
Doc.
Somewhat taciturn today, then. Well, don't be upset with me. I did warn you about
Ah,
that
throw
beast.
food, and
At
then when
least
they
now
come
you
for food,
recognize the
throw
urgency in
grenade.
being rid
Just
of him.
clarified, and then grenade. Alright. Dr. Drain being like, don't get mad at me, you asked for this.
Perhaps now we can stop beating about the bush and actually fix my addiction problem.
I'm here to help, but if we're gonna lick this thing, we gotta do it honestly, and that means getting to the root of the problem.
I tire of this self-examination process. There must be something efficacious that I can do. Perhaps some sort of aversion therapy. I am willing to do whatever it takes to make that villain just go away.
Then you gotta be willing to address the big old elephant in the room.
And what is that?
Those are some choices. Let's save the game. Alright. Jordan, also we kept keeping, let's see. Also, we kept keeping doing the trench raider because it was, not kidding, fun. Wow, perfect. Like, obviously this is the answer, but these two are hilarious. And it would be like super, I feel like it'd be super out of character for him though. So I guess I'll go with like, all right, what do you guys think? Should I go with the completely out of character option and say he's kind of hot because that would be hilarious? Or do I, and then I do the you and him are the same person? Or do I just go straight to you and him are the same person? I'm leaning towards the hilarious option just because why not? Sam does strike me as that guy who like thinks like he's clearly attracted to guys but hasn't fully processed that about himself. If no one has any thoughts, I will make the executive decision shortly. I keep staring at the little kitties that I made. They're so cute. The kitty on my back actually has some cute details on its body that you can't see because my heart is in the way, but those should be more visible when I have other models. Ah, that makes sense. No worries about that. It says again, sorry, my bad for my bad spelling. I'm doing better mentally, but my brain's going to sleep now, and I'm glad that you're feeling better. That's good. I'm glad that hanging out has helped put you where you want to be. And yeah, no worries. I'm probably also a little tired today because I haven't been going to sleep on time the last couple days. So like, I think it's just a bad combo where like, I try to read it, but I'm sleepy, so my brain can't process it. And then you try to write it, but you're sleepy, so your brain can't process it. And it's like the perfect whirlwind of, sorry, this isn't gonna make any sense. If you do want to go to sleep, go ahead, because we do have an hour and a half. So if you don't want to be up for an hour and a half, feel free to go to sleep. But otherwise, that's about how long we'll be here. So that way you can make a like informed decision. So yeah, you don't ever need to feel like you have to stay the whole time. I appreciate y'all being here as long as you can. Obviously, I like it when you're here the whole time, but like, take care of yourself and all that. Alright, we're gonna go with the funny option, because why not?
I hate to say it, but Lord Lourdes is kinda hot, ain't he?
I've never seen the man, and I fail to see what relevance his physical appearance has to my problem.
That could have been funnier.
I just thought you should know.
I could perform an MRI on you, you know. Perhaps rigor mortis has hit your brain.
Actually, it was something else I was gonna mention. You and Lord Lourdes ain't two different people. You keep talking about him like he's someone else, but you both got the same brain in there.
Complete and utter nonsense. You've met him. We share absolutely nothing in common. And what's more, I am fully aware that he hates me. Take a look at this note he left on my desk.
That's supposed to be you there with the micropenis?
Indeed. Juvenile humor, to be sure. Certainly nothing I would produce.
Just so sorry for going on the Canadian rant, as well as my autistic brain has gotten the whole teaching people. Never be sorry for sharing information. Honestly, I love learning new things, so if any of you guys have whatever your hyperfixation is, or your current, I just have to share this with people, tell me. I want to know. Like, genuinely, I am also curious. I love learning new things. Also, don't feel bad. I literally sent it was something like a 10-paragraph dissertation on exactly what Omegaverse and all of its related, like, variant verses are in Satine's chat the other night, because someone was like, what's Omegaverse? And I was like, you have come to the right place, friend. I can answer that question. So, Jordan, what you shared does not even compare, so, like, no worries. But yeah, everyone in the chat, if you ever have something you want to share, go ahead and share it. I love learning new things. This is exactly the place for that. Welcome in.
Ain't he got the same penis, though? Quite so. I have no doubt he does the most terrible things with it.
So somehow he's got a different brain than you do, but the same penis. Something ain't adding up here, Doc.
I resent what you are suggesting. I have no effect on what Lord Luridus does.
Okay, they're telling me it's one of these.
I know
I did
you're a
it.
pretty
It's blaming.
responsible fella, but you're giving Lord Luridus more credit than he deserves.
What on earth are you talking about?
You know that old stereotype mortals like to spread about us where we can't go into a place until we're invited?
A ludicrous idea with no basis in scientific truth.
Ain't you giving Lord Luridus your permission to come in and do what he does when you take that plasma stuff?
I didn't invite him in the first time. I had no idea what I had created. That his presence would become an addiction was not known to me.
That's really cool, Jordan. Jordan was saying a fun fact, which very much is, about me is that they can read and write ancient Egyptian fluently and also some other ancient languages. But English is not, honestly, if it makes you feel better, people who natively speak English suck at English. English is a hard freaking language, man. It's like not even funny. That's really cool. What other languages have you studied? I always find like the really ancient languages to be really interesting, and I've always pondered what it would be like to learn them. Currently, the only language I've actually been like intentionally studying was like Japanese, but I'm kind of on and off on that one.
Dr. Drain, you're a scientist. Your stock and trade is in facts, ain't it? Let's leave thought out of this for now. You gotta be my scientist here and stick to what we know.
Very well. Yes. The genesis of Lord Luridus was in the actions and choices I took. Are you quite satisfied?
Yeah, that's really cool. Did you like go somewhere specific to learn the Egyptian, or was it like through, like, did you learn it in school, or like through something specific, or just something you like kind of found the resources for on your own?
Doc, we ain't here for my satisfaction. Do you really think that?
Well, the fact that I am upset right now certainly lends credence to the idea that you are trying to shame me.
That's one I don't have. Yeah, no, I was saying that too, Jordan, that this Drain guy is definitely the vampire Jekyll and Hyde, like, for sure. He is textbook Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
I won't lie to you, Doc. The people that
So,
Lord
like,
Luridus
agree.
has hurt probably would have a bone to pick with you. But I ain't here to punish nobody. That ain't the way to help you. In this room, we're working together. You're doing the hard work, and I'm just giving you support. Catch my drift, partner?
And so you do me even greater shame through kindness. I cannot win. Perhaps I should simply let that beast, Lord Luridus, have his way with me.
This is a should statement, I think. Oh, you're just learning it by yourself? That's really cool. Well done. That must be pretty hard. Like, that's impressive. That's cool.
Come on now, Doc. You're jumping right to doom there. There are so many ways this therapy thing could go for you. It ain't we destroy Lord Luridus or Lord Luridus wins. Jumping right to catastrophe just ain't realistic. Already you're fighting him by being here. That means there's definitely something in the middle. And working together, we'll make things better. Maybe not completely better. This work ain't never done.
Of course, I am forgetting myself. I am not usually prone to extremes. I shall attempt to be more mindful.
I ain't expecting you to be perfect, Doc. And I don't want you to expect perfection from yourself either. What I'm asking you for is self-compassion. That ain't erasing blame. It's just approaching yourself from a place of understanding. That's a scientific method, ain't it?
I doubt many in the scientific community would agree with such a statement, but I believe I understand the thrust of it. We cannot address facts if we mask them in emotionality.
That's exactly it, Doc. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Indeed. Thus my attempt to synthesize the thought properly.
He's just
Well, thank the
insulting
dark
him.
powers that made us. Someone in here's the smart one.
He just takes that in stride.
We shall take a strategic, scientifically sound approach. We will agree upon facts, develop hypotheses, test and validate.
That's cool. Honestly, Jordan, even autistic people have different ways they learn stuff. So, like, don't disparage what you've done just because it was easier for you. It's still impressive, even if it was easier for you, because you still had to go out and find the resources to do that, which is impressive. You had to find all the information about it, you know? Because, like, I feel like that'd be similar to someone telling me, oh, you making all your own assets yourself isn't impressive just because you enjoy drawing. And it's like, yeah, I enjoyed it and I love doing every moment of it, but that doesn't mean it's still not cool. But yeah, to say they said, it's not if you're autistic, my brain is wired in a unique way. Also, I'm planning on learning ancient Greek and Latin. That's really cool. Those are some good choices. I guess that would also let you read some of like those original documents from those time periods and stuff, so that's really fun. Jordan, have you ever heard of that? It's like the oldest written document we have that we have no record of what language it's in. Because, like, if you're into ancient languages, I bet you'd find that really cool. Oh, you just started writing it out without even realizing? That's kind of fun. But you still took the time to develop the skill, so props to you for that.
If I rely on the science, I will never be wrong.
Well, sounds good to me, compadre. Let's start assembling them facts. Can I ask you some questions then?
You may. Let us begin.
That's cool. Yeah, Jordan has seen that document. It's really neat. I wonder if we're ever going to be able to find something to help us with that, or if it's just going to be, like, unknown forever, basically.
Alright, so you told me that the thing that makes your plasma addicting is how good it makes you feel when you wake up from it. From your scientific perspective, what makes it feel good?
From a chemical perspective, good feelings, or positive emotions, are the result of neurotransmitter action. Considering the specific emotions felt in the immediate moment are contentment and satisfaction, it is certain that I am experiencing an oxytocin and dopamine release. It is a primal limbic response. In laboratory settings, we observe a constant drive in animals towards stimulating the release of amygdala-receptive neurotransmitters.
I think you're gonna need to boil that down for me, Doc.
I did not come here to teach, but so be it. Ask your questions.
That's just rude.
What's the limbic system do?
The limbic system functions as the emotional center of the brain, responsible for emotional responses such as joy, fear, and anger.
So it's like the part of my brain deciding if I should be scared of a rattlesnake, or happy about a belly full of blood?
Precisely. It plays a crucial role in forming memories and making decisions based on emotional experiences. Often called the lizard brain, it's evolutionarily one of the older parts of the brain, indicating its fundamental role in regulating survival instincts.
This is cool. We
I've
learned
been called
things
lizard
today.
brain before, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't a compliment. What's this about neurotransmitters?
Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers that neurons use to communicate with each other. For example, social bonding reliably triggers a release of oxytocin, creating a sense of security and attachment.
So if I'm reading you right, when I'm feeling all snug after a good feed, is them oxytocin neurotransmitters doing their thing?
Exactly. This process is an integral part of our brain's reward system, encouraging behaviors that are perceived as beneficial for our survival and well-being.
And this stuff in the brain, when someone has depression or anxiety or ADHD or any of that shit, that's exactly what isn't working in your brain. So, like, that's That's why you gotta take meds, because your part of your brain isn't working the way that it's normally supposed to. And so by taking medication, you can simulate the thing that isn't functioning in order to allow you to do the things you want to do. Jordan says, in reading it at 6 years old, my doctor at the time should be a 20-word sentence in ancient Egyptian, and you just read it instantly. It's happened to a small group of other autistic people as well. That's super interesting. Like, you just intuitively understand. I guess that makes sense with Egyptian because it's all pictographs. So theoretically, if you happen to have like those same concepts in your brain, it kind of makes sense that you would just be able to be like, whoop, I understand what that picture is. So that's really cool. That's really interesting. Thanks for sharing that with me, Jordan. I didn't know about that. That's super neat. Dang. That's crazy. And like a good crazy, you know?
So, survival feels good, basically.
Yes, though I would not publish such a statement in an academic paper.
They're making me say this.
So what's all this stuff really mean in the end, Doc? Why's this neurotransmitter stuff even matter?
An intriguing question. Naturally, emotion does not have a practical evolutionary application on its own.
Yeah, you're right about that, Jordan says. That's actually something I've pondered about that really old document, is if there's ever going to be one day someone who looks at that and is just like, this is what it says. Or if it's one of those things where it's more like, say, English, where you would just read the words and be like, this is fucking nonsense because they're not pictographs, you know?
However, these emotions signal to the reptilian brain whether or not we are under threat.
Oh, well, dang, now I think we're getting somewhere. I think the answer's right in front of us.
Oh? And what is it that your rooting, tooting brain can synthesize that mine cannot?
All these options. He needs a psychiatrist. He needs to live in the woods. Lord Lourdes feels safer than Dr.
You
Dre.
don't feel safe on your own. Taking that plasma forces you to get that neurotransmitter hit.
An intriguing theory. However, evidence stands against it. Like it or not, I am a vampire. The only thing that may threaten me is the sun or a more powerful vampire. I should not be experiencing feelings of mortal danger. I am not immortal. Logically, I should know such a thing is ridiculous.
There's them should statements again, Doc. It doesn't matter what logic says. You still got that part of your brain that says it's in danger, and that part doesn't care about logic.
An astute point, and an inconvenient one. That we should be saddled with such vestigial, primal concerns is most unfortunate.
Can't avoid the fact that we still got them human concerns. At least we don't gotta poop, huh?
Oh dear, and you are doing so well. At least I have nothing to fear from you.
It's true, though. We're still animals, partner. We gotta satisfy the animal. Just not through pooping.
But we are immortal. Why do we have animal needs, fears, and emotions? What possible use do they have?
Sometimes, Doc, you are just too smart for your own good. You're logicking away all the good things.
I wasn't sure if that was
human.
correct, so I'm glad I was right, because like nothing else made sense.
I mean, let's say we freed ourselves from those biological concerns. Got rid of all them fears and insecurities and quirks. Why are we doing anything then? I don't know about you, Doc, but I don't want to turn into a computer. All them great discoveries and works of art came from our humanity.
Perhaps it is so. Do you know, I've met Isaac Newton several times. The young fellow was motivated indeed, but it was his human vindictiveness that made him so effective.
To get onto the I don't want to become a computer thing, I always find that sort of mindset interesting because it's implying that we could not create eventually. Like, this is not possible within our current technology. But, like, the human brain is a computer. So, like, theoretically, we could create, like, in the way far future, a computer complicated enough to be an actual, like, sentient creature. Also, the idea that, like, anything that isn't human somehow can't create art is like, okay, so what if we discover another sentient species? Are you gonna now suddenly say that that thing cannot have art, you know? And, like, that's always kind of weird to me, personally. But to go back into Jordan's comment. Let's see. Also, fun fact, the last stage of uranium is lead. I had to explain that to all my science teachers, and they had to look in the nuclear stuff, they had to look into it. This is the nuclear stuff's your other interest. That's always kind of funny when you have something you know and they don't. That's really interesting. Like, I knew that uranium will eventually, like, burn off all of that stuff that it, you know, it's going through with the radioactive decay and everything, but I hadn't actually specifically known about the lead. I've heard other stories of people having to be like, but what about this thing? And the teacher's like, what? I had a really annoying instance of that when I was in college where I had an art teacher. I don't know why I had so much problem with this frickin' teacher. Yeah, also we use all of our brain all the time. People say we only use half, and that's false. I did know that one. That's actually like the whole, oh, you only use 10% of your brain. No. At a time. Different parts of your brain do different things. So your entire brain is not necessarily going to be actively firing shit all at once because you're not using that part of your brain. Lead poisoning is technically radiation poisoning. I like that. That's good. Perfect. But yeah, to circle back around before I fucking forget that story. So the college story, the art teacher. So we had an assignment in that class where they said, I want you to create your own fairy or orc. And I was like, perfect. I love fairies. I've done so much research on them. I have a bunch of information about this. So I created like a little humanoid pest, basically. It was like a bug. It would go around biting people and was just annoying. And then the teacher came back and was like, hey, this isn't the assignment. If I had told you to make an alien, then this would have been fine. I told you to create a fairy. And I'm like, I did create a fairy. Yeah, yes, my mom was saying, she remembers me telling her about this. That lady was crazy. And I was like, I did create a fairy. Like, this is based off of these specific places in the world where fairies were considered pests. And she was like, yeah, but it doesn't look like a fairy. And I'm like, what are you talking about? There are so many different types of fairies. And she's like, I wanted you to make a traditional fairy. And I'm like, hold on. I don't remember the exact conversation, but she had pulled up like because some of the example pictures she had shared were like the little flower fairies with wings, or like the orc from like World of Warcraft. And I was like, hey, I did make a more traditional fairy. If you want me to make like the human with wings style of fairy, that is a completely different thing, because for what it's worth, traditional fairies are actually more like what we typically call elves nowadays. So you don't want to get into that. I was basically you don't want to get into that with me because you're wrong. You just copied like a paragraph off the Wikipedia and assumed you knew everything about fairies. Like, do not get into this with me. And like the annoying part is she kept being like, I just want you to make this. And I'm like, great, what does that mean? Do you want me to just draw the human with wings? Because I will do that if that is what you're telling me to do, but you need to tell me that's what you want. Because you going, I just want you to make a traditional fairy, doesn't make sense. Because I did. And a traditional fairy is even farther from the concept you originally showed us. So what the f do you want? It was just a nightmare. I also had a problem. That was the same person I had to fight with because I didn't have a good scanner at the time. So whenever I scanned a picture, it would come out with like half of my coloring, with like my shading was just gone. But the teacher said they would only grade something if it was scanned. So I scanned a copy of it, and then I took pictures, and I uploaded both of them, and was like, here's the scanned copy that you need for grading, but for reference, I also took a picture with my camera, because my camera is better, and you can actually see all my shading. And she kept coming back to me saying, I can't grade this. I can't grade this if it's not scanned. And I'm like, it is scanned. I literally said there's a scanned picture. What the fuck are you talking about? And Jordan said, Slime Pop, you're autistic, aren't you? You are not the first person to ask me that. And the answer is, yeah, there is a very high chance that I am likely autistic. I just haven't been able to get diagnosed because there's no one in my area that diagnoses adults. And I didn't get diagnosed as a kid. So I saw online at one point that someone made the joke where they were like, no, see, I'm not self-diagnosed or professionally diagnosed. I'm the secret third thing, peer-reviewed. And I feel like that's my entire life because it's constantly other people being like, You're autistic, huh? I had one friend that was like, hey, you were diagnosed with autism, right? And I was like, no, like, I probably have it. And they're like, really? I could have sworn. Yeah, and as my mom just said, she also thinks I'm autistic and has studied as a psychologist. Well, and my current therapist, who can diagnose autism in children, also is really positive that I'm autistic. He just can't technically diagnose me yet because he doesn't have the study in adults to say it. But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah. The answer is yes, I just don't have the little piece of paper that says, yes, you're autistic. But yeah, the moment I said I need you to tell me exactly what you want because what you're saying doesn't make sense, that's exactly the type of stuff that makes people be like, that's the tism, huh? It's like, yeah, probably. That is probably my autism. That is why my channel, I think... Oh, I actually don't have my channel tagged as ADHD. It's just ADHD, lol. He met Isaac Newton several times.
All those motherfuckers who called me a nerd are going to pay. Mark my words, he would say. Or something along those lines.
Right, yeah, I agree, Jordan. Also, that teacher and I would be having words because that's BS, right? Well, and the most annoying thing is all of the other students in the class thought it was great. Every single one of them was completely on board. Like, maybe someone was like, hey, this looks kind of like an alien, and then, like, I explained my background for it, you know? But that teacher was a freaking nightmare. They were horrible to deal with. Like, I would send them a response, and they would just repeat the same shit, and I'd be like, yes, you already said that. Can you answer my fucking question? Ugh. At the end of that, I just ended up trying to do, like, the most generic shit. I just assumed they wanted me to do something hella generic and just went with that and, like, did not take them at their word. Because when you say, create your own, I assume you actually mean create your own, not draw this trope. You know? Like, come on.
So, he was making sure none of those motherfuckers could hurt him.
That was certainly part of it. It was not just the love of science that drove the man. It is such a disappointing notion, however, to think that we cannot transcend our reptilian brain, even when we are beyond death.
We're dealing in facts, though, and I think what we're coming to is that your reptilian brain doesn't feel
But I
safe.
absolutely hate it when someone starts coming out and being like, well, you know, this is the actual thing of this. And you're sitting there with like 18 million more pieces of information being like, the hell it is, the fuck? Like, I'm sorry, did you just say to me, the person who has read so many things about fairies, it's not even funny, that that's a traditional fairy? Because I can have that conversation with you, but I'm not sure you'll want to have it with me, kind of a thing. Or like in your case, do you really want to argue with me whose hyperfixation is this? That uranium actually does degrade into lead? You really want to be having that? Because I'm right. Yes, George says, I would give them a drawing of a middle finger while wearing boxing gloves. Perfect. The only reason I didn't sass them more is because I wanted to pass the class, and they seemed like they would be kind of vindictive. But yeah, I did just intentionally. I started giving that class the bare minimum. I basically just gave up and was like, I am gonna do the absolute minimum required to pass this and nothing else. And I did fine for the rest of the class, which is kind of sad. I'm like, all right, apparently you're happy with me just drawing, like, bullshit. Yeah, no, I argued with her for so freaking long. I think I was even showing my mom the emails because I was like, am I insane? Like, am I screwing up with the way I'm phrasing this? Like, what am I doing here? And they're like, no, you definitely explained what you were saying in a way that made sense. And I'm like, okay. Because I don't know how many times I have to tell this lady, I did send you a scanned copy. I just also sent you the camera one. I can't grade off a camera picture. Yes, I'm aware that's why I sent you a scanned image. Yes, but I need a scanned image. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah, no, that, I was like, I'm gonna lose it. I'm like, what am I doing?
Which is absolutely ridiculous, but I must admit that it is somehow true.
What a devastating revelation.
Dr. Drain, for all his scientific achievement, is just an emotional little laboratory rat who bases all his decisions in fear.
All right. My selection of disqualifying the positive has finally come into play.
Man, you just jump right to that extreme. You're probably the smartest fella I ever met, Doc. You ain't a science god, but who is? I think there's a lot of room between being a lab rat and being the perfect logical being.
You are, of course, correct. I am letting my emotions get the better of me. Most unscientific.
Was that teacher named Karen because she was one? The funny thing is, I think she did actually have like a C name that was kind of like that. It wasn't Karen, but it was something along those lines. I don't remember because it's been a minute since I was in college, let's say. God, it's like, because I graduated in like 2015. So, yeah, it's been like 10 years. At least, since I saw that teacher's name, so I honestly don't remember because I'm terrible with names, but yeah, it was something like that. Just start calling them Karen, the art teacher.
Doc, I want to go back to one of them things I was telling you about in our first session, and that's self-compassion. Let's say you had some vampire apprentice, a scientist like you, who didn't know nothing like what you know, and said they were down on themselves for all the reasons you are.
Professor C. Yeah, I just remember the name started with a C. Like, I don't think it was Caroline, but it was some name like that, you know? Like, just something along those lines.
What would you say to them?
Well, I would explain that progress is non-linear. The scientific method, in fact, celebrates failure. That which does not conform to theory still informs theory.
Any chance you could put the scientist away and talk to their human side?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there is another C word we could use to describe her. Looks at the camera pointedly.
Well, I suppose I would say that it is fine, that all things are temporary, and the universe does not care to condemn them.
So how can we get you to say them things to yourself, Doc?
My situation is not the same. I was trained in the age of discovery. I bear the responsibility for that age.
How is that not a control fallacy?
But if this project of mine, to create the blood that will sustain the world, is not what I am here for, then what is my purpose?
Well, let me ask you. What's the purpose of a gopher?
Rodentia geomedy. Rodents endemic to North America, known for their tunneling ability and as agricultural pests. I believe they are the prey of owls, snakes, and coyotes, and are omnivorous themselves, consuming vegetables, insects, and small mammals.
I wasn't expecting you to be so thorough. I don't think I knew half that stuff.
I have come to learn nearly everything there is to know about mammalian biology as a result of my research. Please get to the point.
I think I forgot what it was now.
That is not encouraging.
Hold on a sec, I think I've got it.
I'm gonna say gophers are
Gophers
real
are
cute.
real cute, with their little hands and all. They might be vermin, but they're pretty adorable.
So you are suggesting what? That I am cute vermin?
Oh, no, nothing like that. I was just trying to lighten the mood.
By making me want to pull my own hair out?
Oh, wait, that wasn't it. The thing about gophers is, gophers have a purpose. Driving people crazy, that's what. Used to wreak havoc on the farmland back in Missouri.
Absolutely ridiculous. That is not their purpose. It's an ill-informed anthropocentric philosophy defined and subscribed to entirely by said anthropocentrists.
I didn't know bugs could do that.
Anthropocentrists, not arthropods. Humans. Homo sapiens.
Like, every time he gets mad, he's right, though. Like, that must be frustrating.
I am saying that you have created a purpose for the gopher that the gopher is entirely unaware of.
So, who made your purpose, Dr. Drain?
What? Well, I did, I suppose.
So if you made it, you can change it, right?
But how can I change my purpose? I have always been a scientist. So that's what I am.
No.
Dr. Drain appears to see himself only as a scientist. I fear this is an overly
Okay,
simplistic
it is
interpretation of
overgeneralization.
himself.
Man, some of these are hard.
How can I change my purpose?
I think it's that I have to
always
match
been a
them to
scientist.
words.
So
Because I
that's what
could
I am.
tell you what's wrong with this. But trying to figure out which one of these words applies to it is the part that's confusing.
Science is just what you do, compadre. That's one of them anthropocentric philosophies you mentioned. You're overgeneralizing about yourself. Dr. Drain's in there, and he's more than the things he knows or his job title.
I think that's a nice way to look at it. You aren't what you do, you're more than that. Like, it's a part of you, sure. Like, your labels can be a part of who you are, but they do not define you entirely.
That's the problem. I'm not sure that he is.
All right, well, let's take that scientific approach and try to figure out who the man behind the scientist is.
Very well. If we look at the behavior of our subject, myself, we can infer a few things. If we examine my behavior, one can draw a comparison to a threatened higher-thinking mammal. I spend much time in ensuring personal safety and security.
What about your more peaceful moments? What do they look like?
I believe these feelings are only medically induced
Right?
through my
Jordan
special
says he
plasma.
needs a hug and a mug
However,
of hot chocolate,
Dr.
right?
Drain appears to be at rest when he is full and satisfied.
And your synthetic blood doesn't
Or
do that
blood,
for you.
right? He needs a hot mug of blood and a hug.
I am forced to admit that at present, it does not.
Dr. Drain, what do you think of drinking something a little more fresh and human?
I will not. I do not have to. That depraved vampire, Lord Lyridus, is the source of all that is base and vulgar about my person.
Doc, you're blaming Lord Lyridus for something common to all vampires, including yourself. We need blood. That's just how it is. Ain't Lord
Right.
Lyridus's fault. Now,
Bro
I know
needs
you
to
ain't
take a
comfortable with that
fucking
need,
nap
but you
is
can't
what he
offload
needs to
everything
do.
you ain't happy
Apparently
with
he
onto
just
Lord
doesn't
Lyridus.
sleep
That
until
just
he,
makes
like,
him worse.
passes out.
You have not been listening to me at all if you believe I have absolved myself of all vampiric frailty.
I didn't say that. I'm saying you're distancing yourself from your needs by saying they're Lord Lyridus's needs. Well, what if you indulged Lord Lyridus once in a while? Maybe you could keep him from coming out.
Do you not understand what I have been working toward for the last 400 years? I will finally be able to transcend this thing that I am. I shall be a parasite no more.
Okay, ads are going to happen in about a minute. So I'm going to try to figure out which of these options I should pick. And then depending on how long that takes, once the ads start for the people over on Twitch, we will move over to the chatting screen to hang out during that. I will probably also use that opportunity to go to the bathroom. I've been drinking a lot of water, lol.
Come on,
Ah,
Dr.
right, I
Drain.
was right.
You're a scientist. You know mankind ain't got that kind of control over nature.
Or a nice hot bath, or weed, right?
Ain't you ever seen that movie where they bring back the dinosaurs?
That film was scientific drivel. Its simplistic understanding of DNA should have alienated its audience immediately. But then, who can guess with Americans?
It was a good story, though. And in the end, it wasn't a story about DNA. It was a story about controlling nature, which I'm sure you know ain't never worked.
Your argument does not hold weight when your source of truth is a fantasy film.
Dr. Drain, we really got to talk about some kind of middle path here. Back home, we tried the whole abstinence thing a few times, and it didn't go too well. We tried to stop drinking, and that just made people only do bad drinking. We tried telling teenagers sex was evil, and that just made them want it even more while being ashamed of themselves.
Yeah.
What if you just tried to do some of them things Lord Lyridus does? Just don't do them the way he does.
I find the idea utterly repellent.
Yeah, but then you go and take that plasma, and Lord Lyridus makes the decisions. We don't want that, right?
Fine. Fine. I'll drink some blood.
Poor guy.
But I warn you, Sam, the price of failure is most dear. If I should lose my humanity, all of humanity will lose.
Doc, you really can't be putting the weight of the world on your shoulders. That ain't something you can control, compadre. Now, I know you're a capable fella, but the world is gonna turn with or without you.
All right, ads have started over on Twitch, so we're gonna pause here so that no one else misses anything. Real quick, I am going to go to the bathroom, and then when I get back, we can chat. So if you got anything you're thinking of, go ahead and put it in there. I will read it when I get back. Ta-da! I'm back. Alright. Gonna put some of my bee balm on because my lips are a little dry. Alright. Trying to get myself to stop licking my lips, so I've been trying to use my bee balm stuff because then I've got something on there, so that helps me remember not to lick them. Oh, ad break has ended. Perfect. We didn't actually really talk about anything because I was in the bathroom, so. Alright. We shall go back to vampires. To the therapizing of the vampires.
You think so? I can't imagine someone with my highly rational mind feeling so strongly if my prediction weren't firmly rooted in fact.
Yeah, Jordan actually makes a really good point on this. It's like how some people are so stuck in their way of things that it's going to hurt them in the end. And like that's exactly what it is. You're so stuck in this idea of what you should be and who you are that you just end up hurting yourself.
I know it all seems real heavy right now. Just show yourself a little compassion and patience. Beating yourself up over a future that ain't happened yet isn't gonna help you. We need to go back to this thing I brought up before. You're a smart fella, Dr. Drain, but sometimes you're forgetting vampire commonality.
Just adjusting how I'm sitting again. Gonna adjust something on my tags. Alright. Tags adjusted.
We've all felt like the world was ending or that we're awful monsters. But them feelings are our perceptions alone.
Yes, I'm aware. Perhaps I've been a little too human in my foibles. However, you forget my training in history. I am not an average vampire. I was trained by the great Professor William Harvey.
That
I
is
have had
another.
4 centuries to unlock the secrets of animal biology.
That is another name that I'm like, I know I'm supposed to know who that is, but my brain's just like, nope. No thought, head empty.
I have a duty to humanity and to my own legacy. A duty I should not fail in. Otherwise, what was it all for?
This sounds like it could be a control fallacy, but I think it's actually disqualifying the posit. Nope, I was
Dr.
wrong.
Drain is so certain of what he must do, and he does not consider any other fate. We immortals often become stuck in such thinking, alas.
I guess control
I have a
fallacy.
duty
then?
to
no.
humanity.
Dr. Drain is so certain of what he must do.
I have a duty to humanity
Oh,
and to my own
overgeneralizing.
legacy.
Dr. Drain is so certain of what he must do.
I guess
I
it's
have
a
a
should
duty
statement.
to humanity and to my own legacy.
Oh yeah,
A
a
duty,
duty I should not fail in.
Otherwise,
Hold your horses there, amigo. You say you've got a duty to humanity? Well, that ain't scientific at all. It ain't just anthropocentric, it's Dr. Drain-centric. Nobody said you had to do anything. Remember when we first started talking, I told you about them should statements? That's what you're doing, compadre. Just remember that them shoulds are yours.
yes, I must be frustrating to you, Sam. I invoke the same delusions over and over again.
Hey, come on, Doc. You should be proud of yourself. You know what the difference is between you and vampires who never improve themselves?
This is obviously the answer, but these other ones are funny.
You're smarter than they are. If anyone can lick this addiction problem, it's you.
Jordan says, also, most autistic people realize things about the world that most normal people don't see easily until pointed out. Yeah, that's actually something that's always really interesting, is just the different ways people think depending on, like, the way someone with autism thinks, or the way someone with ADHD thinks, or the way someone with both, or the way different autistic people think, or different normal people think based on their culture. And it's just like everyone seems to view things differently. It's really interesting.
I was smarter than other vampires yesterday, and it has availed me no solutions. I have a great many problems, but intellect is not one of them.
Yeah, I guess you're right. What I meant to say was, you're here. You've made a commitment to getting your head on straight. And you're getting there, my friend. Already you're making some big changes and investing in yourself. I can see it.
Nice.
So let's cut Dr. Drain a break. How about it, amigo? He doesn't need the weight of the world on him. There's only one thing he should do, and that's have a little understanding and empathy for himself. You get me?
Yes, I get you. Very well. I shall try to keep a clear head. And I will arrange to drink some real blood. There's plenty of it in the lab. I shall just liberate some of it.
Good man. We'll talk about how it's gone next month, all right?
Indeed. Until then, Sam. And thank you for your patience.
I ain't got nothing but time, amigo. You can thank me by being patient with yourself.
All the same, you have my thanks. I shall see you in a few weeks then. Farewell.
He's the nicest person to talk to
Well
because
done
he's just hard on
indeed, Samuel.
himself instead of
I
kind
think
of
we are
being
starting
an
to see a
asshole.
new version of the good doctor in the making.
I hope you're right, boss. That fella's awful hard on himself.
That is normal, my friend. Being a vampire takes a lot of self-acceptance. He is only taking his first steps in discovering this.
Yeah, fair enough. It took other people forgiving me for me to forgive myself.
And now you pass on this gift of compassion to Dr. Drain. Now, Samuel, the evening is still young. See what the night has to offer downstairs.
That sounds good, Andy.
Rest in peace, my friend.
I always come out of the doc sessions feeling dumber than ever.
Dance, dance, dance. Alright. Great session with the doc tonight. Sometimes his being a big ol' nerd can be a real help. He's looking at his problem more rationally now. Likes to blame Lord Lourdes for his more animal needs. That is, he denies his own needs and Lourdes fulfills them. Has a lot of his identity tied up in being a rational scientist. Wants to transcend being a vampire. Must drink real blood. I encourage the doc to drink some real blood. I think his head ain't clear because he's starving. I think he gets that it's a biology thing.
I'll check in with Crimson. She's always got some bartender's wisdom to share. Howdy, Crimson. Looks like a nice crowd tonight.
They're always a nice crowd, cowboy. We like to maintain an asshole-free zone.
It's important.
I'll try not to be an asshole then.
I'm not worried about you, cowboy. You had a session tonight, didn't you?
Yeah, with the doctor fella. We had a hard talk about what being a vampire
Jordan
means.
mentions, it's like how music to two different people sounds and means different to each. Yeah, that's exactly like that. Or like how someone with synesthesia might see music completely differently from other people, but multiple people with synesthesia might even see it differently. Yeah, it's exactly like that. That's a really good example. Like some people might hear, techno or dubstep or any of the party music like this, for example, and just be like, this is just noise, this is just garbage. But then for other people, it's like perfect for them,
He's having a hard time coming to terms with it, even after 400 years.
I can understand that. I've stopped aging for the last 20 years and don't know how I feel about it yet. How do you think it went with him?
It went
I think
good.
we're finally getting somewhere, actually. It's funny, a lot of vampires forget they're human, but he keeps forgetting he's a vampire. But just like we can't opt out of being human, we can't opt out of being vampires either.
Must have been a hard talk, cowboy. I sometimes wonder what I am. Staying the same age, drinking Andy's blood to live. Don't get me wrong, I like not being dead, but I still feel like I'm living on borrowed time.
Is this a good time to ask why you don't just join the dark side? It ain't that bad being dead.
I'm just not sure what I'd do with forever, Eternity's a long time.
Yeah, I think a lot of us vampires can't answer that question either. And I don't think there's one answer anyway.
There you go. So I guess I'll keep putting off the question.
But nobody's rushing you, Crimson.
You think I'd let anyone? But thanks for listening, cowboy. Now why don't you go mingle? There's a new fella in the kink room who's very interested to
New
meet
character time.
I guess I'll go be social then. Thanks, Crimson. Wait a sec, that ain't...
Greetings, my child.
Keep your distance, amigo. I know our kind ain't had good history, but I ain't in the mood for an exorcism or nothing.
Ah, my child of the dark. If I were to exorcise you, nothing would be left when I was done. Only the good Lord is free of sin. We are all children of darkness.
Holy smokes, what Bible have you been reading?
I know my scripture, my son. However, I am by scripture and dark metal ordained, not by any church of man.
Let's see, Jordan says, some people can see sound waves to an extent, like, for most people see sound waves if the music's loud enough, for some it's low frequency, I'm one of them, it's like, almost like colors in a way. Yeah, I've always thought that was really interesting. Or like how some people can smell colors, or taste, like, the way something looks, or any of those types of things. It's always really interesting. It's like how some people can hear dog whistles, or, like, some people have really discerning color vision. Like, I'm one of those people where I've actually had times where I struggled with, like, color vision tests because I noticed that the hue change between the layer, like the line of colors, was slightly different in two of them. So it was throwing me off because I'm like, this isn't a perfect hue. Like, the amount is off here, you know? Or that kind of thing. I can usually look at something and be like, yeah, this is this color, or this thing, but different people can do different things. But that's really cool that you can, like, almost see the sound waves. That's neat.
So, you're some kind of freelance priest?
That's a funny way to phrase it.
Yes, I suppose I am. It is the only way I can give succor to those who need it most.
So I gotta ask, seeing as we're in a kink room, what kind of sucker are we talking about?
I follow in the path of the Lord. I share my body, and I share my blood.
Jordan has mentioned their mom can hear dog whistles, like it's a normal whistle. That's crazy. My spouse can also hear dog whistles and stuff like that. I don't know if it's like a normal whistle, but I know that it's apparently just ear gouging.
Ain't this a little blasphemous for your kind?
To whom, my child? God is in everything, including you, sweet vampire. Can God blaspheme against himself?
Jordan says, also, Slime Pop, you would make a good sniper. No offense, the military man in me is coming out. Just out of curiosity, why do you think that? And yeah, none taken. I get that you're not meaning it in like a mean way, you know? Ah. Yeah, it's interesting how different people's senses are heightened or lessened or what have you. Like, for example, my peripheral vision, garbage. Hot garbage. Horrible. It made driving a nightmare because I couldn't tell how far away things were, for example. Or like, if something waves next to me, I can't tell how far away it is, or sometimes I can't even see it. Like when I look at a computer screen, if I want to see something on the edges of the screen and I'm looking over here, I have to look at it. Otherwise, I just can't see it. Like if I'm looking in the center of the screen, I can't read the text, I can't see the details on his face, I can't see the details over here. Like I can tell there are people and text, but I can't see any of it unless I directly look at it.
I merely wish to give comfort to those who live in darkness, and so I choose to live in darkness with them. Come, my son, I shall give succor to you.
Well, alright. Maybe if you stop calling it that.
Well, that's interesting. Jordan was saying, because you can see color more visually, so like camouflage would be more easy to make out in the background. Yeah, that's a good point. It's like when you're in a game and like there's something that's invisible but it like ripples a little bit or what have you, I can usually spot that kind of thing pretty easy. Okay, I'm supposed to hit the blue veins, so...
Thou shalt not want, my son. Are you comforted?
Yeah, I guess I am.
I know those of my faith have hunted your kind. Perhaps we fear our own sin, so we seek the sins of others. I seek only the Lord in everything. As do we all.
Oh yeah, and Jordan says he had
whether
like
we
that.
know it or not.
That makes sense. That's an interesting way of thinking about it.
You ain't wrong, I
Though I
suppose.
imagine my
Hey,
absolutely
little
garbage
awkward,
peripheral
but
vision would
what's your
probably
name,
make
fella?
that a little bit difficult. Though I wonder if it would work the same way if you're looking at something through a scope. Who knows? Not like I could ever be in the military with my myriad of health conditions, nor would I really want to, but you know. Just wouldn't really be good at that sort of thing.
I am Kieran. It means little dark one. The night always did call to me.
Well, Kieran, I'm Sam, and I appreciate the blood, but I'm gonna turn in. A little sleepy now.
Go with God, my child of the night.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that.
And now it is the
A
next
fine
day.
evening to you, Samuel. Are you ready for tonight's session with Signora D'Este?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're making some good progress.
That is wonderful. Remember, though, that the road to inner peace is not a straight line.
True enough. I like to say I didn't make my path. Nature did.
Samuel, you have the makings of a poet.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
I
a
meant
nice
it more
thing.
literally. When I was walking in the woods, I just walked where the land led me.
Stretching a little bit. Gotta stretch my wrists so that my hand doesn't get mad at me.
But you see, this is a wonderful metaphor. If there is a valley between two mountains, that is the path nature takes us on. We often choose to climb the mountain instead when the easier path is made for us. Your experience guides your intuition more than you might expect, my friend.
Guess it's that peasant wisdom the Signora mentions.
I actually have a really funny story about the peripheral vision that I'll share. So, when I was still in school and was still driving, there was a very small period of time where I was driving before I was just like, I think I'm done. I don't need to go anywhere, and my anxiety just goes to the roof when I drive. So, I was driving my little sister to school, and I would pull up. So, our house was in between our house and the school was a relatively busy intersection that was right off the main road. So I'd pull up to that and I would be waiting for the cars to go by. She'd be sitting there next to me being like, go, you're gonna make me late, just go, the car's far enough away. And I'd be like, I can't tell. That was horrible. Like, I'd be sitting there staring at the car and I'm like, is that car far enough away? Like, do I have enough room to go? And then by the time I would realize that it had been far enough away, it would have reached the point where I could tell that it was too close. So, like, the entire range of, yes, this car is far enough away and you're fine, before it's obviously this car is far enough away, you can barely see it, and this car is too close, you would get hit. I couldn't tell how far away it was. So I'd just be sitting there, and she's just yelling at me in the side seat, like, just go, you're gonna make me late. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not good at this. It's one of the reasons I hate parallel parking, because I can't tell how far away things are from, like, the front of the hood and stuff.
Be careful with the labeling, my friend.
I didn't mean it in a bad way. I ain't ashamed of being a peasant. I'm just folks, as we like to say.
I can see why the Signora has become quite fond of you. Are you prepared for your session with her?
Yeah, I think with our progress, there might be some other distortions to focus on. Let me think.
Jordan says, I can spell people, let's see. Oh, you can smell. You can smell people's blood from the wound to an extent. Not like a vampire. It's more common than you think. Yeah, I've heard of that too. Like just or like, even if it's not everything, like certain smells can just really trigger people, which is really interesting. I will admit my brain went the like, no, you can't spell it from screen or glass. You can't smell it from screen or glass. Yeah, that makes sense. My brain did go the obvious, like, does that, like, have any effect on when you're around someone for whom it's the time of the month? Which, I guess, if you don't want to answer that, that's totally fine. I'm just morbidly curious. Or, like, I imagine that would smell different if you could. But anyway, let's see. So, Isabel d'Este is... She already has control fallacy, so... Oh, like if it's type A or... Oh, you can smell what type of blood they have. Like if it's type A or B. That's really interesting. So that's cool. Yeah, like, I guess that makes sense, because there's obviously enough differences for it to, like, matter if you put one person's blood in another person. So yes and no? Okay. Hers is always kind of hard, and, like, sometimes I pick the wrong. Let's say that she's probably going to go with always right. Overgeneralization. Personalization. And let's just pick... Yeah, I figured it was yes and no to the question I asked, that you can yes and no to being able to smell that time of the month, so to speak. Let's see. Let's go with blaming. Why not?
All right, locked and loaded.
Watch,
People
all
of
of
your
them are going to be
country have so
wrong.
many colorful phrases having to do with firearms. I do not understand the obsession.
Andromachius, none of us do either.
I can't explain it neither.
I shall leave you alone with the Senora, Samuel.
Howdy, Senora. Good to see you tonight.
You are looking forward to seeing me?
Well, sure I was. You're an interesting person, Senora. It's a privilege to get to know you.
Aw.
I suppose you have learned something of manners yourself. I thought a lot about the things we talked about last time, you know.
Guns. Yes. Jordan's like, guns? It's like, yeah. Since he's a cowboy from America and this is in Germany, he was like, your people have got a lot of turns of phrase about guns. Like, what's with the fixation on them? It's like, shrug.
Oh, yeah? What about exactly?
About how foolish I was for wasting my time for so long fighting against reality.
A woman so learned and accomplished was probably never ineffective or foolish, don't you think, Samuel?
About how foolish I was for wasting my time for so...
A woman so learned and accomplished was probably...
About how foolish I...
A woman so learned...
About how foolish I was for...
A woman so
Just click
learned-
everything
About
and
how
see if it
foolish I
works.
was.
Now, hold on, Senora. Maybe you were fighting reality some, but that doesn't mean you were wasting your time. That fighting with reality is just part of what makes you human. It's
Jordan
your
says, I love
experience,
firearms to an
your
unhealthy
journey that you're
extent.
learning from.
Hey, as long as you're not doing anything bad with them, I think it's fine to have your hyperfixations. Like, I probably have way too many books and plushies. I read way too often. I love reading to a point that it is actually unhealthy. I have legitimate problems stopping reading. Like, I would read in school, I would read in class, I would read walking down hallways, I read instead of going to sleep. It's bad. But, like, as long as I'm, not I do accidentally read instead of eat or work sometimes, but that's something I'm working on, Like, I don't need to stop reading entirely. You don't need to stop being interested in firearms as long as you're not using that knowledge nefariously or what have you. Do you just like researching them, or do you go to like shooting ranges and stuff?
But if the aim was to control my family, I failed to achieve that aim.
Yeah, but that's real all or nothing aim, Senora. It's easy to fail when the conditions for winning are so narrow, right?
Yes. You are, of course, correct. Would that I had listened to the simpletons in my life earlier.
Well, I'm glad you've been doing some thinking. You were putting so much pressure on yourself to be the one keeping your family going. I can tell how much it was weighing on you.
I assumed you wouldn't hurt anyone or anything, but yeah, as I last to learning about them, and no, I'm not gonna hurt people or anything. I kind of figured it was just like, especially when we're playing a game like this, my brain just goes to the psychology of it, which is just like, as long as you're not hurting anyone with the things you like, it doesn't matter. Kind of a thing. Yeah, Jordan says because it's a part of history. I feel like that's what makes a lot of things so interesting, Like, especially seeing the growth and change. Like, seeing the way firearms spread to different parts of the world, like starting out as gunpowder and fireworks and cannons, and then moving into smaller arms, and then the way that they went to different countries but were developed differently in those countries is like really interesting, It's like the change of language or like mythology. Mythology is one that I really like. I'm really big into like the legends, lore, mythology stuff. It's fascinating how many cultures have stories that are the exact same story, just in a completely different context. Like the founding creation myth of Japan, part of that story becomes a minor side story in Greek mythology. I find it absolutely crazy. So like Izanami and Izanagi, which are the twin creation gods of Japanese mythology. At one point during the process of them creating children, the wife dies. I think that's Izanagi? Question mark? I would have to double check. I haven't looked at their names in a while. So the wife dies during the birthing process. I think when she gives birth to like the fire god, he like burns her and she dies from it, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a while since I read it. And so she ends up going down to the underworld because she's dead. I'll pause and read Jordan's comment real quick and then continue with what I'm saying. Jordan says, I have a CO2 rifle because Canada has stupid regulations for them, but I'm understanding of it. But still, yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of those regulations have to be in place because of you're the reason why we can't have nice things, people. Some people just gotta be people, I guess. But anyway, to continue. So she dies, and her husband is like, I would like her to not be dead. So he's told by the ruler of the underworld, or whatever, like the powers that be, that he can take her out of the underworld as long as he doesn't look at her. And anyone who knows Greek mythology might be noticing a similarity in this story already. So he goes down into the underworld and he finds her and he starts taking her back. But he can't resist the urge to turn around and look at her. At which point, she goes absolutely feral because she's like, you son of a bitch. All you had to do was not turn around. You motherfucker. How dare you? And so she just goes like after his ass and tries to kill him because she's pissed because he turns around and she's like rotted and full of maggots and shit. So he runs out and uses a rock to cover the door of the underworld. And, you know, she's just scraping at it and screaming at him or whatever. But the interesting part of the story, the thing I realized is I'm like, wait a minute. Greek mythology literally has this story in a different context. So there's a side story in Greek mythology about a pair of mortals. Like, it's like a bard and his girlfriend or whatever. So his lover dies, and he beseeches Hades or whomever he talks to be like, hey, can I bring my lover back? And he's like, sure, if you go get her out of the underworld, but you have to promise not to turn around and look at her. And now y'all are seeing the similarity there. Jordan was saying, also, you're right about the Japanese one, but he also lit a torch. Yeah, I forgot about the torch part. I think he was also not supposed to light a torch, and like he used that to look at her, which he wasn't supposed to do. I don't quite remember if he was supposed to light the torch or not, but yeah, you're right. I forgot that bit. And then, so yeah, in the Greek mythology one, the guy goes down there and he's taking her, but he turns around and looks at her because in both cases, they were basically like, I want to see the face of my beautiful partner. And then in both cases, the person is like not beautiful because they're dead, you know? And they're like, why would you do this? You ruined it. Now I'm going to be stuck like this forever. And they get pissed and the guy runs off and like leaves them there / seals them in the underworld. And it's like, bro. And just the exact same story in both of those. And it makes you wonder, you know? Like, did one of them hear the story from the other one? Or was there some event that they're both basing this story off of? It's like dragons are in every single culture. And it's like, did they all just find dinosaur bones? Or like, is there something else about this? And I just find it so interesting, you know, like seeing those similarities because like those stories are scarily similar. So they have to be based on this, like something about them. And they both couldn't hear them behind them. Yeah, exactly. They couldn't hear the person behind them and they weren't sure. And yeah, and it's interesting how they're like 90% the same story. And so it's like, did someone in Greco-Roman society hear that from Japan, or like they both based on the same event? Like what happened that caused that, you know?
I spent so long trying to
That's just super interesting.
Trying to transform them into something that they were not. May I talk to you about my ex-husband, Sam?
This was something I wanted to ask her about last time, so.
Of course you can. I know he gave you a lot of grief.
He hurt me deeply. In so
yeah, as Jordan says,
ways.
dragon, angels, animal gods, and goddesses, right? Because like
I could fix
the concept of mythical women from like another realm is in like every culture, especially like the angel concept, because we have angels, we have tenshi, we have fairies, we have, you know, princesses under the ocean, because like, you know, we have like the Asian version, which is the woman with the. Have you seen those pictures of those like flying women with those little like scarf things floating around them? Ooh, this is another example of cultures that have the exact same concept. So, like China, Japan, or as Jordan says, pyramids, that's another good example. Because like there's the pyramids in like South Africa, and then there's the pyramids in Egypt, you know? But like, so in like various Asian cultures, we have the idea of like, I'm gonna use the Japanese term because that's the one I know off the top of my head, the tenshi, which I think they got that from China. It's the you know, the woman from the heavens, and essentially they have what is sometimes called a robe, but generally is depicted as like this almost like sash thing. It's the little, you see it a lot in anime. It's that thing, like that little scarf that they've got wrapped around where their the bend in their arm is, that floats behind them in a circle, which is their heavenly robe. And the idea is that these heavenly maidens would come down and like bathe in the waters or whatever. And the concept was that if you stole... Did I say Africa when I meant America? Because yeah, Jordan was saying South African? I don't know that. I think I might have meant South America. If I accidentally said Africa, it was probably because I was about to say Egypt right afterwards, and every once in a while that happens where I will be thinking something and then I will say the wrong word. I meant South America, like pyramids. But anyway, to continue back to that, and some people who also know about other mythologies might start to notice the similarities right here. If men come over and steal their heavenly robes, then the woman has to marry them. And often what happens is either the children that she bears with him find the robe and she goes back up to heaven, or she finds it herself, or someone helps her find it and she returns to heaven. Which, interestingly enough, that concept of you have married a heavenly person and once their nature is revealed, they leave, is also shared by things like the Yuki-onna, for example, from Japan, or various other mythological creatures, like the crane wife. Japan actually has a lot of those, like for example, with the crane wife, it's you save a crane, and then and then a human shows up to be your wife, and she tells you, don't look in my room while I'm sewing or weaving or whatever. And then you know, she makes these beautiful things that are like the best thing you've ever seen, and then inevitably the husband looks in her room because apparently men just can't be trusted to do what they're told, I guess, is like every single one of these stories. And yeah, Jordan mentioned the other mythology I was going to mention, which is also like how people would turn into seals. I'll get to that one in a minute, because that's the Celtic one of the Selkies. So where like then he looks into the room and he sees that she's the crane weaving, and she goes, now that you know who I am, I have to leave, which is effectively the same story as the Yuki-onna, except with the Yuki-onna it's don't tell anyone who I am or I'll kill you. And then a human woman shows up and marries him, and then one day he's like, you know, at one point I met a Yuki-onna and she told me not to tell anyone or she would kill me, and she's like, yeah, that was me, and now that you've said that, I would have to kill you, but I won't because I love you, so instead I'll just leave because you broke our promise, and then she leaves. But the one that specifically is the exact same story as the Tenshi heavenly maidens coming down and putting their robes down to bathe in the waters or whatever, and then Guy takes it and they get stuck, is exactly what Jordan mentioned. It's the Celtic mythology about Selkies, where Selkies are women and or seals, that basically what happens is the seal takes off its seal skin and a woman or whatever comes out. And so what would happen is the Selkie would be up on the shore, like sunbathing or whatever, with the seal skin nearby. And if you steal the seal skin, they get stuck and they have to marry you. And usually, either someone would help them find the seal skin, or one of the kids would eventually dig it up and the Selkie would put that on and leave. And it's just interesting seeing those similarities, because you're like they're so far away, you know? So it's like, where did all these stories come from that are so similar? It's interesting. Jordan mentions and how werewolves are from all over the world, and similar but different. Yeah, exactly. Like the skinwalkers of a lot of the Native American tribes, and, you know, werewolves of European mythology, and just general shape changers. Because, like, technically, interestingly enough, Selkies from Celtic mythology are actually more similar to skinwalkers from native mythology than skinwalkers and Selkies are werewolves, which is interesting. So it's just like, huh.
I thought Frankie was the way he was because I was not an ideal wife. That perhaps he would have been faithful if I had been as beautiful or fertile as a Medici.
But you know that who your husband was didn't have nothing to do with you, right?
Okay, I got it right. It was
Everyone comes into a
personalization.
relationship with their own problems.
But this is the reason why I love mythology and creatures and cryptids and legends and history. I tend to lean into the, like, mythological history side as opposed to the, like, modern history side. But that's exactly why I just love all that sort of, like, creatures and mythos and legends and cryptid, all that, because of all those sorts of interconnections, and it's just so cool. Fantastical creatures.
Yes, I believe I understand that now. But if I had been more like that Borgia woman, he would have been more content.
But here's the thing, Senora. Your husband's issues didn't have anything to do with you. He was gonna bring him into the relationship regardless.
You are right. Who he was not my fault. I know I have been arguing with reality, as you have said, but the idea of a fruitful marriage, sanctified by God, this was the only reality I had. But that reality did not match with mine. God could not have blessed both our marriage and riddled Frankie's penis with French diseases.
French diseases?
We used to call syphilis the malfrance.
Lol.
Diseases don't belong to any nationality. You sound like a certain politician from back home.
Yeah, as Jordan was just saying, like, Native American werewolves are not monsters and more like in real life wolf, but European werewolves are more like the monster. Yeah, that's why I mentioned that Native American skinwalkers are very similar to Selkies, because a lot of their mythology has a similar concept where they would, like, put on a fox skin and turn into a fox, or put on a wolf skin and turn into a wolf, which is very similar to the idea that Selkies put on a seal skin and turn into the seal. Whereas usually European werewolves are the idea of the monster bursts out of the human, or they twist and transform into this either fully wolf or like half wolf, half human monster form, and usually they can't control themselves, whereas Selkies and skinwalkers can. So yeah, very interesting.
Do not insult me. Have I not suffered enough with my husband's disgusting malady? It was a painful lie to live. I could only conclude from my sorrow that God was testing me. Endlessly.
The Senora was seeking a justification for her feelings, and I believe she found one.
It was a painful lie to live.
The Senora was seeking a
It was
Blaming?
a painful lie to live.
No,
The Senora
what?
was
It's
sick.
personalization.
Painful.
It's
The
not?
Senora was
It was.
I want to challenge you on something, though.
All right.
That sounds like a kind of hopeless statement. Like you're doomed to keep being tested on God's terms.
I feel like it's more personalization, but maybe that's
Perhaps
just
it
me.
was hopeless. As you said, Isabella d'Este and Francesco Gonzaga could not change their natures.
That's true, but here's the thing. Does that mean you were doomed, or were you just doomed on God's terms? I think this just needs a little reframing. I know you were dealt a rough hand, but it doesn't necessarily mean you were being tested. Sometimes we just gotta make do with the hand we got. What I'm suggesting is that then and now, a radical acceptance approach could have helped you.
What do you mean?
These options are hilarious. I honestly think this might have been the... I'm gonna... Okay, let's save. Let's go with this.
You could have had some sort of secret arrangement. That was pretty common back then, right?
Oh, we did have a secret arrangement. The arrangement was that he kept secrets from me and I pretended not to know about them.
Jordan was mentioning that they have a friend that has skinwalker eyes or animal-like eyes. They have wolf-like eyes. Yeah, I'm not going to say their gender because it's personal to them. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, there's certain things you're like, you want to share, but it's not really your story. And yeah, that was in the mythologies, that was how you would be able to tell if someone was a skinwalker, so to speak, is that their eyes would be animal eyes, which is where some of the various legends and mythos and stuff come from. But yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, it's interesting how genetics work.
Had you ever considered talking about it?
I could not. You do not know what it was like back then. A woman, even one such as I, was always subject to her husband. I did not have a say in his affairs. I had to play the part of the good wife and mother. You must understand, I only earned my significant power by playing the societal game.
One thing that I think is unfortunate is like with things like that, like maybe me and you might be like, wow, like the fact that your eyes look like, you know, like what we would typically associate as animal eyes is really cool. Or like, oh, you have heterochromia, that's really neat. Or oh, you have insert other rare feature, that's really cool. It sucks that people get bullied for that kind of shit. Like, what the hell? Sometimes people suck. Like, just be nice to people, man. Just doesn't even make sense to me personally, but...
But he knew you were aware of his indiscretions, didn't he?
It was hard to deny when he approached me with that rotten thing between his legs.
So why not bring the issue out in the open?
He would have become angry, I am sure. Perhaps he would have beaten me and taken away the privileges I had worked so hard to earn.
And unfortunately, I don't have the thing for this.
Perhaps it is pointless to tread over the past again.
All right,
and
have a
again.
nice sleep.
What has happened?
Don't
has
stay up
happened.
too late. Hugs to you as well. Don't forget to drink water, eat any food you need, take your meds, all that lovely stuff. And I hope your sleep is restful and you have either good dreams or no dreams, whichever you prefer. Night-night.
It has been nearly 5 centuries. I should not let the past haunt me so.
Oh, Jordan was saying that they have something similar to them, but theirs are more when they're angry. They go feral like an animal making its last stand. Yeah, it's interesting how things like that. It's like when like you look at like your hair in the sun or anything like that. That's interesting. Yeah, on that note, my hair is kind of funny because it looks like it's brown, but then you actually pull it apart and you're like, that's blonde and that's red and that's, you know, like, it's crazy how that works. Or like you mentioned, like adrenaline and things can like change the way that people appear almost.
If I am true, Sam, I am still very angry about all the lies I was told. I may be harboring some resentment.
You don't say.
You will understand when I tell you of Frankie's greatest cruelty.
Oh no, what did he do?
I will tell you that the man, for all his fighting spirit, had very weak sperm, for he could not sprout a male seed in my womb.
So I think this is technically blaming, but like...
Hold on, are you really blaming your husband's sperm for your having girls?
It is literally his fault.
It could not have been my fault.
Senora, even I know it's just luck of the draw. I think you know that too.
Oh, your everything changed. Eye color, smell, hair color, skin tone. Yeah, it's crazy how that kind of stuff can happen. That's interesting. Thank you for sharing.
Fine. Perhaps I just wanted to insult
Okay,
Frankie.
this bothers me.
But I
because
will continue.
it is literally the husband's sperm that determines the gender of the child. It is literally the fault of his sperm. That does not necessarily make his sperm weak, but saying that it's not his sperm's fault is just scientifically inaccurate? Anyway.
My first child was a girl. I could not have been more embarrassed. Or so I thought, until I had my second child, who was also a girl. I will tell you, Sam, I was a young woman in mourning. I did not emerge from my chambers for weeks. The next time, finally, I had a boy, my beautiful Federico. He was such a charming child. He would entertain me so with his clownish behavior.
I think we can see why her son might have had some problems. It sounds like we got a boy mom on our hands here.
May I show you a picture, Sam?
Well, sure, let's take a look.
Look at him. Isn't he beautiful? He could have been a movie star or a model today, don't you think? Admit it, he is the most handsome boy who ever walked this cursed earth.
Well,
Why am I asking you? What do you know of beauty? Anyway, I gave all of myself to him. All my guidance, all my wisdom, and all of my love. Everyone said, you are doting on him. Give him some air. How dare they tell me my business? I am Isabella d'Este. I know what is right.
Senora, I'm sure you knew what was best for your son, but ain't it possible that those people might have been able to help you? It's lonely work when you feel like you can't listen to anyone else.
That's a nice way to phrase it.
Are you telling me how I should have raised my son?
I got a better sense of self-preservation than that, Senora. But you gotta admit, this Nosferatu thinking of being always right is pretty exhausting, ain't it?
Oh, that is true. And as it turned out, pointless. It did not matter in the end. Frankie, in his supreme foolishness, managed to get himself captured by the French.
Jordan was saying, nah, Slime Pop, it's you're a girl and you change into a boy in the womb. It's a lot of factors I wouldn't get into. Yeah, I was just referring to the fact that the genetic material for the Y chromosome doesn't exist in the egg. It only exists in the sperm. So, like, obviously it depends on if you happen to get one of the many sperm that have a Y chromosome, or if you get one of the ones with an X, or if you get one of the ones with an XX or an XY, and then, you know, if you do get one of the ones with some amount of Y, there's a chance that at a certain part in the process, that Y will trigger the development of male characteristics, or traditionally male characteristics instead of traditionally female characteristics. So yeah, Jordan says you're right about that. So thank you for the clarification. I probably should have clarified that as well, but yeah. It's interesting how that is. It's like how when people say something like, oh, you know, gender is biology, and it's like, it's not, and not even sex is black and white. There's like 7 different areas, or I think it's like 3 or something. There's multiple different places in your genetics that have the things that determine biological sex, and they can all be different. None of them can match. Also, you can have traditionally male, like biological chromosome / DNA, but be outwardly traditionally female. And it's just like, that is crazy. Biology is nuts.
He ransomed himself out of prison with something more precious than all the gold in Venezia, more valuable than the Pope's seat. He sold my son, my beautiful Federico.
Oh man. Oof. No wonder she went bonkers.
Dang. That must have been devastating, Senora. I can't imagine how painful that must have been.
No, you cannot. For you will never be a mother to a son so beautiful, so intelligent, and so pure. But that was not the end of my pain. It was not enough to take my son away. Not content to merely break me, the French, as always, needed to corrupt.
What do you mean the French always needed to corrupt?
They are a debauched people. I know what they are like.
Senora, you're too smart to judge an entire group of people based on an icky sample. Besides, we're vampires. What the hell does it mean to be French or Italian after a century? All the people that made France French back then are dead now.
Yes, of course I am aware. I speak out of anger and hurt.
Yeah.
I figured. But honest heads make for honest hearts, I like to say. What did the French do to your son?
They sent my sweet Federico to a den of filth, a place where chastity went to die, straight to the crossroads of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oh yeah, that's another interesting point, Jordan. It's like cancer. It's different for each person, so that's why they can't make a true cure for cancer. And it's like, yeah, it's just because cancer is literally just a random part of your body decides to start doing something it's not traditionally supposed to do. It's like, yeah, it's like, oh, you're gonna grow teeth here, or you're gonna grow this here, or you're gonna grow this here, and it's just like, And yeah, that's why, is because it's not, cancer is a term for a specific type of thing your body is doing. It's like how autoimmune disease or immune deficiency disease can all mean totally different things for different people. It's like some autoimmune diseases are just, you have arthritis. And then some autoimmune diseases are, your skin's gonna fall off now. Have fun. Though in those cases, there is technically a something you can do for it. But I guess that is kind of like cancer, because cancer doesn't have a cure, just like how autoimmune diseases don't have a cure. They just have something you can use to manage them, put them into recession, so to speak. Though usually with cancer, it doesn't need to be done continuously, because once you've put it into recession, it's generally in recession until it's not. With autoimmune diseases, for example, you usually need to keep treating them if you want them to stay down. Yeah, as Jordan was saying, and for each cancer, for each person is different and never the same. Even the same person having cancer again can end up being in a completely different place or in a completely different way. It's kind of crazy.
They sent him to the Vatican.
I knew it was going to be something crazy, but like I wasn't quite expecting that.
The Vatican? Seems like that'd be a pretty boring place for a boy to spend time.
Sir, then you know nothing about the Vatican.
This was Rodrigo Borgia's Vatican. It was a city of prostitutes and perverts, and he was their mayor.
The fact that she was mentioning the Borgias means the moment she said Vatican, it was like, ooh, yeah, that's, I see what you mean now, lady.
My poor Federico. He was a boy of a certain age. I could not have prepared him for the temptations he encountered. When he finally returned to me, he was no longer Isabella d'Este's child. He was the child of Francesco Gonzaga, an experienced whoremonger in his own right. I am a man now, mother, he would say. I do not have to listen to you.
Teenage rebellion.
And indeed, he did not. Which is why he died of syphilis, just like his depraved father. He did not even have the courtesy to wait until I was dead. Now do you understand why I prefer the illusion of truth and beauty I try to bring to art? My mother told me when my marriage was young, Isabella, you must pretend that all is as it should be. The truth is dark, but you must maintain your own.
And Jordan was saying that I was right, because Mom has different kinds of cancer, and I was like, that side comment, that sucks, and I'm sorry. I hope that she's able to take care of those with minimal invasive / hard on the body things. That sucks. But yeah, that's rough. There's not really anything else to say. That sucks.
I hate to say it, Senora, but I think your mama was spouting a few should statements of her own.
Right.
Keeping up that illusion must have been draining.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, because that's basically the just lie to yourself and then you'll be happy, and it's like, maybe not in this situation.
That is why I tried to create my own illusions. If I depicted love and chastity in their ideal form, I could make that illusion come true.
Well, Senora, if anyone were strong enough to change the world's morality, it might be you. But I think you know the truth is that you don't have that kind of control. No one does.
Then why am I here, Sam? Why are any of us here? Are we here to eat, sleep, fornicate, and die?
Technically?
I know a few folk who might say that's why we're here. It's one of them existential questions, ain't it? Here's my take, Senora. I think you're here to be you.
That's a nice way to look at it.
I certainly hope you have something more intelligent to contribute than that.
She being mean to me.
I don't really. Here's the thing, Senora. None of us is going to change the world overnight, or even in a millennium of nights. But our being here, being ourselves,
Jordan's
swings
like,
the pendulum in a whole bunch of unknowable ways.
Yes, she is.
That is a dark interpretation of reality. Are we truly so powerless?
No?
Isabella sees imperfection as helplessness. Help her see otherwise, my friend.
That is it.
What I'm saying, Senora, is not that we're powerless. I'm just saying we ain't gonna change the world on our own. Not everyone's gonna buy what we're selling, but some people are gonna get it. People are still out there talking about the art you brought to the world. Maybe fellas like me don't know who you are, and I bet that nasty Pope from your time wasn't your biggest fan. But you can't help but be an influence on people. Just not all people. Ain't that so?
I do not know if that is enough for me, Sam.
Well, here's what I think we should do, Senora. All them efforts of yours are always facing outward. How about we spend some time on you?
That's a good way to do
What
it.
do you mean?
I mean, let's work on the things Isabella D'Este likes. Forget about the rest of the world. What are you putting in your art that's for you and not for anyone else? Is it a little embarrassing?
Hush. If you must know, it is centaurs. I like centaurs.
Interesting. The reason I paused there for a second is, so there are centaurs that are nice, mild-mannered gentlemen, but, that's the exception to the rule. Actually, centaurs is one of my favorite myths because it's hilarious. So this is my favorite myth on how centaurs came to be, all right? It's another Greco-Roman mythology thing. So, centaurs. One day, some random guy was like, Zeus, let me sleep with your wife. And for some reason, Zeus didn't just smite him immediately, and instead was like, okay, sure. But instead of letting him sleep with his wife, because, yeah, he made a cloud in the shape of Hera and gave it to the guy. I guess he thought it would be funny. And the guy slept with the cloud, and then centaurs came out of it. That's the entire story of how centaurs came to be. Centaurs were born from the cloud and then proceeded to rape and pillage the countryside like a bunch of crazy monsters. And it's just like, this story is insane. Now, the most well-known centaurs are the ones that specifically set aside their evil nature, like the one that's known for his knowledge of like medicine and healing and wisdom. I'm forgetting his name, but like he's specifically known as like the paragon of wisdom and healing and stuff. So like, fun facts, I guess. Also, centaurs are pretty cool. Like, I can see why you like those.
Hey, I ain't gonna judge. Sometimes I like horses better than people too.
Yes, well, they are pleasing to look at.
Just in time for the ads. Centaurs are pleasing to look at, huh? You don't say. What part of them do you like the most, Isabella? Insert, we might have more in common than I thought. Yeah, it's an ad break on Twitch time now, so we are pausing here with the they are pleasing to look at. And we'll shift over here so we can hang out while the ads are going. Alright, Jonah's saying, well, I have to go, Slime Pop. It's 12:01 a.m. for you. Oh no, so you gotta go to bed. See you next stream. Also, you're right about that. Slime Pop came along, Zeus. Everyone's Zeus. No. Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Literally the entirety of Greco-Roman mythology is just Zeus. No, wait, stop. And Zeus being like, yes. And then shit hits the fan. All the gods messing things up. Well, Jordan, I hope that you have a wonderful sleep. I will see you next stream. And don't forget to drink water, take your meds, take a shower, any of that stuff you gotta do, eat your food, all that. And I hope that your sleep is restful and that you wake up feeling refreshed and ready for the day. All right, I will see you all later. Thank you for being here. It's much appreciated. Drinking some more water. And yeah, thank you to everyone else who's been hanging out here with me, whether you've been chatting or just lurking. Just being here and supporting me is appreciated. Yeah, I'll just hang out here with my lovely little kitties. Yeah, I'm wondering if I should maybe, like, make that top kitty's arm a little shorter, so it's like a third of the length. I wonder if that would make it better. Because otherwise, I feel like the arms look a little too long. Aw, Jordan says, thank you, Slimepock. Hugs from Canada. Hugs back to you, too, from the depths of the ocean, where I definitely live, for sures. Not in the U.S. That will be my illusion. I will be like Isabella and pretend that I don't live in the place that I live. Though I do live in one of the parts of the U.S. that is a lot better off, so. And yeah, of course, Jordan. I'm glad that you are feeling better, and I hope that things keep going well for you. Yeah, when I was doing the rigging, I tried to put the body of the little cat behind my model, but you couldn't really see it. So he's actually sitting inside my inside the model, not fully behind it, so you could actually see it better. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for sitting through the ads. I appreciate it. It helps support my channel. Now we are going to go back and continue to talk to Isabella about our shared interests in non-humans.
Now, how about this then? Why don't you pick up a brush and paint yourself up a centaur?
I have not attempted to paint for centuries.
This is just for you, Senora. No expectations. How's that sound?
I cannot believe I revealed this thing to you.
I'm glad you did. I'm a lucky fella. I get to know an Isabella D'Este no one else knows.
Bro, if you're not gonna date her, stop flirting with her.
And no one else will know, or I will make you suffer. Capiche?
You got a deal, Senora. I'm here to be supportive, that's all. I hope that when you come back next month, we'll be having a nice conversation about you finding your muse.
Yes, perhaps. Very well, Sam. I do not understand your ways, but I cannot deny you have a certain untamed wisdom.
And just in case anyone is curious, yes, we will be ending the stream soon. I just want to finish this session because I don't want to end like right in the middle of it.
I shall attempt to paint a centaur. This is not what I expected from therapy, but I shall do as you suggest. I shall see you in 4 weeks then. Arrivederci, Sam.
Oh yeah, see you soon, Senora. Arrivederci.
Goodbye.
Yeah, that butchering of that does deserve
Samuel,
that face.
You never cease to impress. Centaurs.
Hey, she said no one else was supposed to know that. Be nice.
I don't think you're supposed to know about that, boss.
I am 3,000 years old, my friend. Horse people are somewhere at the very tip of my kinky iceberg.
Right.
It is already forgotten.
Well, the Senora's pretty embarrassed about it, so I'd appreciate it if you kept it to yourself.
Senora D'Este is wise to put her faith in you, Samuel. I will gently remind you that relationships between therapists and clients are highly discouraged.
Oh, come on, Andy. It ain't like that. Senora D'Este is just... You're messing with me.
Of course I am. Unless...
All right, you know what? I'm going downstairs. I could use a drink.
Well, Sam, maybe if you stopped flirting with the Italian noblewoman, people would stop accusing you of flirting with the Italian noblewoman. Just saying.
Well earned, Samuel. Please, rest in peace.
Poor Senora. That lady's holding on to a lot of anger. Reminds me of myself as a young vampire.
Let's read her. Session 3. The digger I deep. The digger I deep. The digger I deep, friends. The deeper I dig, the angrier Isabella gets. I don't think we're even at the core of it yet, but she is furious as hell with her husband and son. Some of that for good reason. Adored her son more than anything. Little too much, maybe. Feels betrayed by both her husband and her son. Seems angry with herself that she wasn't able to control either of them. Maybe madder at herself than her boys. I tried to push Isabella to be a little more selfish. She can't control another human being, so maybe she can worry about herself first.
Pretty hot in here tonight. I think I'll get some air. Maybe I can get to know Bert a little better.
Eee.
Hey, Bert. How's the crowd tonight? Same old, huh? So, summers sure are warm these days, huh? Bet Europe was a lot colder in your time. You think the infinite dawn will happen in our own lifetimes? Oh, that's what some vampire climatologists say. I don't know. I figure we can still do something about it. I know it's easy to get disillusioned, but get your chin up. It's been nice talking to you, Bert. I'm gonna head inside.
No, talk to Bert more.
Hey, Crimson, how's the crowd?
Hey, cowboy. Bit busy tonight, but how'd your session go?
Good.
No, I think this lady's starting to realize what she can't control, which is a lot. She's still mad as hell about it, but I think we're getting closer to acceptance.
I know how she feels, cowboy. I feel like I wasted years of my life in D.C. trying to make the world a better place. But it sounds like you are making progress to me. She's got time to make her peace. That's what Andy says about you vampires.
Yeah, that's true. We can take 40 years or 400, but that's up to us.
In the meantime, I'll whip something up for a hot summer night.
Oh, it's all
What's
frosty.
this now?
Blood margarita. Figured a hot-blooded desperado like you could use something cold.
Oh, mighty kind of you, Crimson. I'll let you get back to work and take this up to my coffin for a quiet night.
Night, Sam.
Now let's see, what'll help me reflect on the night? I think there's something Omar Khayyam once wrote that I can look up. Or I could watch Buster Keaton almost get himself killed a bunch.
I'm gonna read the poetry instead of watching a man abusing himself for fun. That sounds like something very different.
One of my transcendentalist friends told me about this one. I ain't too good with poetry, but this piece always stuck with me. The moving finger writes, and having writ, moves on.
I'm gonna save right here so that when we return, we can return to this lovely quote. All right. Now we have this lovely music while I go and look for someone for us to raid. Let's see who is online. Let's see. Hard to decide because I don't think anyone else is playing Vampire Therapist, so I can't send you guys over there. We do have some of the other people I follow are doing spooky streams. Let's see. I'm not sure how long everyone is gonna be up, though Hockey is doing a subathon. So I guess let's go help Hockey with their subathon. So we are going to go over there. They're playing Bendy and the Ink Machine. All right. So we are going to start that raid. So once again, as I take you over to Hockey, I hope all of you have a lovely rest of your night, evening, afternoon, morning, whatever time it is for you. Take care of yourself, take your meds, drink some water, eat some food, go to sleep, do whatever it is you have to do, and I will see you next time. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day. Alright, we're heading over now. Oh wait, I forgot to do my raid message. Just kidding, not yet. Alright, so this is the message that is going to be for any subscribers to the channel. We're going to spill the tea, and this is the message that's for anyone who is not subscribed and cannot use that emote. We're going to spill the tea On, Senora. Senora yearns for the centaurs. Alright, everyone. Here we go.